Welcome to the NARAS Cup Series at Auto Club. Today we are here for the California Dreamin' 300. At least that's what I was told. Let me double check. The California Dreamin' 300. Tonight it will be... I should have checked this beforehand. It will be 150 laps here at the 2-mile multi-groove racetrack of Auto Club. As you can see on the board, the 51 of Caleb Hess in first, Trent Siddon in second, and Gage Burns rounding out your top three. As we wait for the end of practice, I am joined with my co-commentator, Tyler Jones.
Howdy, howdy.
And we will be covering today's race. So after practice ends, we will move into qualifying. We'll see who can take the pole. Obviously, the pole sitter will get a lock into Season 3's Clash. So, really, more on the line here than just starting first, unless you're someone like Jordan Parker, who's already won a pole this season. Some major news regarding this season that we're going to have to go over during the warm-up, but I think it's too long to cover in 30 seconds of practice. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at some of the people on track. We've got Isaiah Fox, who's new to the series. That is the only new driver I believe we see. Oh, we see the 48 of Klotz, and the 24 is on here. Although I believe his number is incorrect. The 24 of Christopher France. So those are the two newest drivers for us this week. And we will see how they are able to do as practice ends with Caleb Hess in P1. With a 39.96. We're going to go ahead and move into qualifying, and I'm going to let Tyler take over a little bit for this. Well, once we start. It hasn't started yet. Let's see who gets on track first. Right now it's nobody, because no one likes me.
Well, you also know how it's going to be. Everybody's going to wait. You don't want to be the first person. You kind of want to see someone set a lap first.
Well, I love to be the first person. It looks like Caleb Hess might be the first person here that I can see.
Stinson is rolling right now, the number 33 car.
Just let me know who, and I'll go to him.
Yeah, I'm looking at the 33 car right now. He's about to enter track. Just past that blue cone, about to merge on the backstretch. Now, I wonder how these cars are going to really last in the long run tonight.
Yeah, the tires are going to mean a lot here, but last season's race actually came down to fuel strategy, which I believe Josh Mayu was able to take the W in that race. Jordan Parker was third, but he was the first driver of the people who had taken tires, and he had a really good chance to win last year. So I think Jordan Parker in that 9 car is going to be somebody to beat. So we'll have to see what he does tonight. We'll have to see if he can kind of rekindle that magic from last season and try and finish 2 spots better. As we see Dave Stinson going into 3 on his first lap, trying to get that car turned into the bottom. You may see some drivers choose the top on their first lap, like you saw Jordan Parker. Kind of like a super speedway qualifying, you will see some drivers do that here at Auto Club just to carry that speed on the second lap. So, I mean, what's your take on that, Tyler?
Well, I mean, a lot of drivers normally prefer that top line once you get out of the pits to kind of give them tires time to warm up, and then they'll kind of go down, hug that apron, and get a faster lap. It really just depends on your style and your preference. Some people say the top line will help warm up. Some people really don't say it does much. But I feel like it personally is a smarter move to try to get those tires as warm as possible so you can dive down in that first corner when you get that green flag to get the fastest lap you can get.
And I will say, it looks like some of these guys have opted to stay low for their first lap, and we're going to see how that affects, because Tanner Siddon on his first lap went pole. Klotz actually did just pass him here in the 48 car. As John Dees... Oh, Siddon goes back to the top. His brother passes him, so Siddon 1-2 currently. We're going to see what Klotz can do here with his lap. In the 48, the part-time entry for Parker Motorsports. Caleb Hess goes to the top. So possibly another good week for that 51 Tricon machine. He does have 2 new teammates this week. He's got the 15 of John Lewis returning, and then Lucas Lewis and Gage Burns coming over from Redline Motorsports. So Klotz ends up currently P10. Didn't have the second lap he wanted. Kenneth Colson goes P2. John Deeds P6. So we're going to go ahead and follow along with David Callahan, who I believe just finished the second lap. Gage Burns P3. Let's go ahead and follow John Lewis here in the 15. Currently 11th. We'll see what he can do with his time. As he dives to the bottom in 3 and 4. He's going to cut as much of this apron as he can. Sorry.
No, you're perfectly fine. Just looking at these times tonight, just with our top 4 alone, they are all sitting within roughly a tenth to 100th of each other.
Yeah, so, I mean, the biggest thing we're seeing right now is, as Taylor Alton actually jumps all the way up to 6th, you're seeing Thomas Adams actually 1.2 seconds behind. And that's a little bit uncharacteristic at a track like Auto Club, which makes me think that Adams really backed out of the throttle on his laps. As he's completed both of his laps. The only person yet to finish their laps are Josh Mason, Jordan Parker, and Lucas Lewis. As Lewis jumps up to 12th. We're going to see what happens here with the 9 of Jordan Parker as he's coming to finish his lap in that new Napa Gold machine. Parker only manages P13, so not the qualifying Parker wanted after the last 2 weeks, really. As Caleb Hess looks like he's going to take pole for tonight's race in Auto Club.
You know, if I was one of them drivers on that track right now, I really wouldn't be too worried about my qualifying time. This is a 2-mile course. We have a lot of laps to go. So, I mean, if you just hold in at the bottom, keep that draft, kind of save some of that fuel, and manage those tires, I mean, qualifying times doesn't matter.
As qualifying is going to end here, we're going to move into, well, we won't move into the driver's meeting. All of the drivers will go into the driver's meeting. We are going to go ahead and take a move to our national anthem. And we will catch you all in a minute.
So proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fights, oh, the were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket track left fights here in name, the name of the fray. We are the USA. For those unaware, that flag is still there. It's our future to save, this land of the brave, the USA. Oh, say, just that star, spangled banner, yeah, wave for the land of the free, and the home of the
And that was the national anthem as we return to Auto Club Speedway. Once again, waiting for the driver meeting to finish. So we do have some driver changes this week. Lucas Lewis was removed from his position in the 24 at Parker Motorsports and has moved to the 11 for Tricon Garage, pairing him with Caleb Hess and his grandfather, John Lewis. So major moves on that seat. Obviously, that means the points lead moves from Parker Motorsports to Tricon Garage, as Lucas Lewis does currently hold the regular season points lead.
Don't forget as well, though, that number 55 of Gage Burns just made a move as well.
Yeah, so Gage Burns was employed on Caleb Hess's team at Redline in the Ford, but obviously Tricon did pick Caleb Hess up before Atlanta last week. Gage decided to follow his owner to Tricon, so Tricon did also pick up Gage Burns in the 55 as well. So the full Tricon lineup as of right now is the 11 of Lucas Lewis, the 15 of John Lewis, the 51 of Caleb Hess, and the 55 of Gage Burns. And I believe there's also a 5th part-time car, but I don't think that's going to run nearly as often. So we'll have to see. But I mean, following the news of Lucas Lewis, obviously Parker Motorsports has to fill that 24 seat. So they did pick up Christopher France. So he's making his series debut tonight. Obviously, they also have the 48 part-time of Daryl Klotz also making his season debut. So it looks like we have Klotz, Fox, France, all making their series debuts tonight, as we see Jordan Parker on pit road here. And we are currently still waiting for the meeting to finish. So we do see some people.
Just say, while we have time, man, I don't think we've really took a close look on that beautiful gold 9 car.
Yeah, it's a great car. I believe David Callahan was the one who painted it, but obviously the 9 of Jordan Parker is the one racing it tonight. So we'll see what he's able to do. Obviously, he's starting 13th, not really what he wanted to start with, because he needs a good result. He's DNF'd the last 2 races due to no fault of his own. Well, maybe Atlanta was a little bit of fault of his own. Obviously, Vegas, he was involved in that lap 5 wreck. Ended up, the tire went down once he finally got back on lead lap. Hit the wall and ended his day. And then Atlanta, coming out of pit road, he caught that transition, which we also saw Dave Stinson actually make that same mistake earlier in the race and just destroyed his car, just overcorrected, hooked it right into the wall. That sent us into a really late overtime, or a really late restart, which resulted in the chaos at the end of the race. So we'll see if Jordan can rebound today. He really needs to. Obviously, this isn't the normal Napa paint that we see him in. It's not the white, yellow, and blue. Today it's blue, white, and gold. So running the 100th anniversary of Napa tonight is the 9 of Jordan Parker. As we look at some of the other cars on pit lane, there's the 51 of Hess running a Starkey car for Tricon Garage. Joshua Mason running a Nationwide car for Parker Motorsports. Lucas Lewis in the Lucas Oil 11 for his new team at Tricon. Jordan Oughton running a Budweiser 29 Forward Mustang. David Callahan running an Interstate Batteries 81 for his own team. Christopher France running that Exalta 24 in his series debut for Parker Motorsports. And that is all the people we have on pit road right now. So we are still awaiting the driver meeting to finish, and it has started to go on a bit longer than it did last season, so maybe some people unhappy after the last few weeks trying to get some of their opinions out, and some of the admins taking care of that this week. So, I mean, now that we're here, I feel like now that I have someone I can bounce ideas off of, do you have a way too early race winner prediction?
Way too early race winner prediction. Truthfully, I want to go with someone that I feel like had enough speed last week, but didn't have enough maneuver and enough time to kind of make their way around the track. And that would be the 22 of John Deeds in that Ford car. I feel like last week, just watching him from the booth, you know, he had the momentum, he had the opportunity, he just really didn't get his time to shine. So I would like to see him, at least if he can't get that win, finish in the top 5. What about you?
Well, Deeds, like you said, Deeds has had a really solid last 2 weeks. And I think that goes to show that there's a lot of this season ahead of him, and I think he can make a really good run for a few things in contention. But I really am split between 2 drivers tonight. Obviously, you know, the obvious choice is the 9 of Jordan Parker returning. He's one of the only drivers here with experience in this car at this track from last season. So Jordan is definitely a heavy favorite right now. I think another heavy favorite is going to be this 51 of Caleb Hess. He was also in this race last year, had really great speed at Las Vegas before he got wrecked, had great speed at Atlanta before he got wrecked, and now that he has teammates, it's going to change a lot for Caleb Hess. He's not running alone or just with David Callahan now. He has more options. So I think I either have to go with Caleb Hess or Jordan Parker in this scenario, and I don't see it being anybody else.
I agree with you there. Jordan Parker would have to be that runner-up. I mean, last week he had about the same. He was very unlucky, like you said, got wrecked out, hit that wall, nose in, and that was the end of his race very early on. He didn't have that opportunity, and I could see a redemption coming from him tonight, especially with him having a new car on that track. He's going to have to show that driver what's expected from this team and either, you know, give him that boost that he's going to need to see what the team represents. Obviously, with the background they have already, he already has a hard seat to fill. But I see where you're coming from. 100% see where you're coming from.
The biggest thing and the biggest story tonight for Jordan is the fact that he's starting so far back in the field. However, Tricon Garage's Caleb Hess and Gage Burns are starting first and third, so they will be together here on the initial start. So that is going to mean a lot here for the start of this race. Kenneth Colson coming back once again. He will start second and will be first on the outside. I'm going to see if we can try and grab the 51 of Hess up here real quick before they go green. Caleb, this is Owen in the booth. Do you got me?
I got you.
So I believe this is your first pole of the season, correct?
It is.
So obviously this locks you into the clash for season 3 if you return. So, I mean, what's your outlook on the race tonight, knowing that you have the speed when you're alone to go out and win this race?
It feels pretty good, but I think my main thing is to just try to take it slow a little bit, stay by my team, get a little bit of help, and, you know, kind of go for a Saturday night drive.
So obviously you have your teammate, your new teammate of Gage Burns behind you. How does this affect your thinking on the original race start, since you kind of don't have to worry about defending your rear?
It's definitely a relief, because I know Gage will try to fight the 28 a little bit, maybe give me an opportunity to pull away a little bit and just do what I want.
So obviously that does give you a little bit of, I guess, comfort. But how do you approach each stage of this race, knowing that it's not just one long stage? Obviously you're gonna have the two 40-lap stages for stage 1 and 2. So how do you approach those 40-lap stages, and how do you approach that final 70-lap final stage?
Well, the 40 lap stages, I'm probably just gonna try to play my cards right, get as many stage points as I can, and then hopefully shoot it out in the last one.
So I don't know if you're allowed to give me this kind of information. What are you looking at for a full tank of fuel? How many laps do you think you're able to get out of it?
Well, my fuel data right now says about 33, 32.
So you're gonna have to pit in this stage if it is to go
Everyone
green.
will. Yeah, we'll be 10 laps short almost.
So there's no hope for you you can't save 7 laps. You can't just like coast a whole few laps.
No, I mean unless Gage wants to push me the whole time while I'm half throttle.
I mean, he probably would. So
No, that's a bad idea. Bad
I would agree.
idea.
All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and bring you back into your team's booth. Good luck tonight, and hopefully we'll catch you for an interview later.
Thank you.
And that was the 51 of Caleb Hess, your pole sitter for tonight, as we're going to go ahead and pull up the race standings. 22 will take the green tonight at Auto Club for the California Dreaming 300. The second time that this series has been to Auto Club after Season 1. So Tyler, how do you think this race is going to go?
Well, I feel like, honestly, nothing is perfect, and we're going to obviously have some wrecks here. There's going to be some mishaps, some bump and runs. It's racing. I feel like, as a driver standpoint, being in a seat myself here and there, obviously you want to pray for a clean race. At the end of the day, you know you're going to have to avoid wrecks. As a driver, I want this race to go as clean as possible, as swift as possible, and bring that white flag in one try.
As we see, Caleb Hess actually did get a jump here on Coulson, but he is going to lose some speed here on the bottom. Coulson's going to be able to wrap the top. So we'll see. If Caleb Hess is able to clear Coulson and Gage Burns can get under him, it may lock Coulson to the top. But we'll have to see. Coulson might be looking for a move here down the back, as he does look low on Caleb Hess for the lead really early in this race. Coulson's going to get to the bottom. Hess is going to hold it wide open on the top. Gage Burns is going to follow the 51 of Hess. Coulson's going to slide up. It'll be a drag race to the line to lead the first lap of the stage, as Hess will lead the first lap of this race. Obviously, Gage Burns hasn't made the ground he wanted to, but staying competitive here. Obviously, a major upgrade compared to last season. Gage has learned a lot in the last few months, so we look to see what he's able to do now after a few more months under his belt. As we see Jordan Parker still yet to break his way into the top 10, fighting for 13th, seems like, with Joshua Hahn. So we're going to go back here towards the 09 of Isaiah Fox. Actually, 3 wide on the bottom. Looks like a lot of chaos here in the mid-pack. Front side's all sort of single-filed out, and then you have 3 and 4 wide behind them. So we'll have to see what they're able to do here. You see Jordan Parker looking to the bottom of Joey Beam as Joey Beam slides up. Jordan might have just gotten 2 for 1 there. Beam slid up into the 15 of John Lewis, and Parker was able to get actually 4 spots that lap. So we'll have to see what he's able to do here. As Caleb Hess continues to lead, Gage Burns moves to second. Trent Sidden in third. Kenneth Coulson drops back to fourth, and David Callahan rounds up your top 5. So we're going to follow this 9 car of Jordan Parker, who's already up 5 spots this race, the biggest mover in the first 4 laps. As Tricon Garage teammates Caleb Hess and Gage Burns start to put a gap on the field here, you have to wonder how much that teamwork is going to affect the race tonight. As you see Callahan actually trying to get clear of Trent Sidden, looking for a Toyota 1-2-3, the first time in NARAS League history that would be the case. See Jordan Parker still trying to weave his way through the field here on the top side, actually looking through the middle. Gage Burns on the wall on the top. Callahan moves Trent Sidden up the track. Taylor Auden puts Burns in the wall there. And Burns is going to fall like a rock here on the bottom. We'll have to see what Hess is able to do with Coulson behind him. So Tyler, what do you make of Jordan's run the first 4 laps to get already into the top 5 here?
He's doing exactly what a experienced driver is going to do. He's going to stay back, watch how everybody in front of him is holding their line. Notice this top line has been dominant practically since the race start. That was very apparent to him, and he knew that he would just have to make a couple of weaves. I mean, as you can see, they were very spaced out. So with his experience, it made it very easy for him to get up to the front.
Right, and the biggest thing for Jordan is the fact that he has the experience in this car. He kind of understands the runs that are going to come early. He's actually going to make a run on second. He's going to try and get second here, and he might go for first if he can get clear of Hess out of one. I don't think he'll be able to, but we'll have to see if he's able to clear in front of Kenneth Coulson. Looks like he's going to be able to. 5 laps into this race, Jordan Parker... Oh, he gets turned! Jordan Parker gets turned by Kenneth Coulson, and the caution's going to be out. Parker keeps it off the wall, and is going to have to try and make that same run again. As you can see, Parker is extremely upset after that incident. It looks like... I mean, I can't really tell you what happened. It looks like maybe Jordan Parker maybe hit a bump wrong? We'll have to take a look here. So we're going to go ahead and watch this in slow motion. So the 9 of Parker moves up into second. He gets clear of Coulson. Coulson is going to dive low here on the 9 of Parker. It looks like maybe a bit of netcode that caught Parker there. Really unfortunate. This Parker is going to be forced to try and make his way through the field again. The biggest thing for him right now is there's a very high possibility that Parker is going to be down a set of tires. So we're going to go live here. We'll wait to see what Parker is doing. If it will let me go live. Okay, it's not letting me go live.
Parker right now is back on the track.
Not entirely sure what the issue is currently with SDK, but SDK is not liking me right now. We're going to go ahead and go to pit road here. Come on, SDK. Alright, we're now live. SDK has decided to fix itself. We are going to go ahead to move to commercial real quick. Under this caution, we will catch y'all in a minute. As we return back from commercial, from iRacing, Tyler, what do you make of this race so far?
I mean, it's exactly as I expected so far. People are going to try to make their moves. Obviously, getting, you know what they say, 5 and above, you're good. 5 and below, there's normally wrecks. So the main goal is to get within the top 5 early. That's what you've seen as the 9 of Jordan Parker. You're going to see a lot of people move pretty quick early on, but everybody's still slowly been trying to find their grooves. So, I mean, all in all, it's been a good race so far. You could see that a lot of people are pedal to the metal.
Yeah, as we're dealing with a minor bit of technical difficulties. So I am dealing with a little bit of... SDK is not liking me right now. Not entirely sure
as of right
why.
now, It looks like Caleb Hess is still in first. Dave Callahan behind him, if I'm not mistaken. John Lewis in third. You got Gage in fourth. Lucas Lewis in fifth. Corey McWilliams in sixth. Daryl Colts in seventh.
All right, we're good. I got it back up. All right, thank you. I am.
Yeah, no problem.
So the big story here is gonna be Jordan Parker working his way back up through the field again.
This reminds you of them old NASCAR Dirt to Daytona Day challenges, doesn't it?
Yeah. The big thing right now is you have an all Toyota top 4. Actually, all Toyota top 5 currently.
Yeah.
So obviously I was not able to catch that pit cycle due to the technical issues. We are sorry about that. As Caleb Hess will remain your leader once again. Looks like Jordan Parker's already starting to try and make some moves. You have to wonder to what point does his aggressiveness start to bite him. As Caleb Hess remains on the top side. David Callahan behind. John Lewis. Lucas Lewis looking under his grandfather. Then you have Klotz.
It already looks like the pack is starting to break up so far. It looks like at least from 14th back has already created their own pack. Not too far off, but they're slowly losing.
Well, the biggest thing is you don't want to get stuck in a position where it ends up kind of slowing you down. Because you don't want to get so far off the pace that it becomes an issue.
Right.
As we see John Lewis actually looking for a move on the 51 of Hess. We'll see what he can do here. Teammates obviously didn't work well together last week. We'll see what they're able to do tonight. All 4 of the Tricon Garage Toyotas in the top 10. 3 of them in the top 5. As Caleb Hess continues to...
Toyota's still trying to fight to hold that top 5 position, but them Chevys are slowly starting to creep on in there.
And you have to wonder if the Toyotas, since I believe all of them stayed out, if the Toyotas are doing it tires, like trying to save that set of tires for later in the race.
51, if you look, Caleb Hess, he has been comfortable since the start of this race. Pole sitter, still going strong, only has a 0.2 gap, but has kept that gap the entire race, holding that high line. He is going to be able to save those tires off if he can do that. The only problem is leaders don't get as much draft.
Oh, Daryl Klotz just got turned across the field. As Daryl Klotz.
That's a big one right there.
That involves both of the Lewis families. Lewis is going to come back down and catch the 24. That's a
like
very damaged 24. You still have the... Oh, there's a lot more up here. This wreck may have been a lot bigger than we thought.
It all started with that 48 car, Daryl.
Daryl Klotz looks like he was the first car here. So we're going to go ahead and take a look. Looks like Daryl Klotz just came up on the 15, hooks the 48 up. The 15, oh! And the 15 comes down. There's actually a second half of this wreck. It looks like involving Tanner Sidden. So we're going to take a look at this. Maybe not Tanner Sidden. I believe it's Trenton Sidden. Yeah, Trenton Sidden involved in part of this wreck. So it looks like somebody tried to miss it and ended up catching the right. He got Austin Hill. Or he... Yeah. Someone went to avoid the wreck and...
Got hit by Dave Stinson.
Okay.
33 car.
Yeah, so Stinson goes to avoid the wreck. Almost Austin Hill, like at Indy today, just hooks the 99. Obviously not intentional like the real thing. And actually gets destroyed again. Well, it looks like that 77 car. So the 3 of Hansen, the 77 of McWilliams. A lot of cars involved in this wreck here tonight. As it looks like Isaiah Fox is going to inherit the lead. Looks like he stays out while all of the Toyotas choose to pit in. Although 2 of those Toyotas, who were very strong, are going to now possibly be out of this race. We actually see Jordan Parker once again on pit road, maybe to top off on fuel just to be safe and make sure, you know, his pit stop at the end of this race or at the end of the stage is a little bit shorter. So we will have to see what he's able to do, though.
You just got to think this is going to be tough for a lot of drivers right now. We are only at lap 15 of 150 to go, and they are already having to use these sets of tires.
Well, the biggest thing for me right now is you've already had a big one. Just after 10 laps in, you've now got Caleb Hess, who's been... You have the 3 Toyotas that were involved in the wreck, who were extremely strong beforehand, that are now mired in the back. You have Lucas Lewis, who actually was able to come out and still remain 10th. You have some guys who you don't normally see up front here. You have Jordan Naughton, who kind of struggled last week. You have Isaiah Fox, who's new to this series. Joey Beam, who for the most part has been kind of hit or miss. And then you have Thomas Adams, who's kind of been, you know, not a major player in a lot of these races, but still, you know, is usually decently respectable. There's not a single Jordan Parker car, or a single Parker Motorsports car in this top 10. That's like the first time in league history. As we go to the choose cone, it looks like Isaiah Fox will choose the top. Tanner Siddon the bottom. Joey Beam the bottom, although that may end up being a choose cone violation. I don't think he got all the way down in time. So we'll have to see what happens there post-race. As Stinson actually looks like he didn't have a ton of damage after this wreck, as he remains in 4th. So we'll have to see what Stinson is able to do here on the race start. I don't know if he... I mean, it looks like that left front might be a little bit bent in, but nothing major on the 33 of Stinson.
Right. I just feel bad for him. You know, he had a rough week last week. He spun out by himself, which caused a caution. Kind of got collected a couple other times last week, you know, and already 15 laps in, you know, he's kind of starting to find himself in a little bit of trouble already. So you got to think that's going to get under it, you know, get under his skin just a little bit and keep him a little bit worried, especially having a start.
And you have to wonder, this is kind of like, you know, the Xfinity series or the Truck series, where you see a team choose a different strategy, and it's you know, maybe like Ty Dillon did at Milwaukee in 2024, where you kind of stay out at the end, or, you know, do whatever to try and get some track position in it. Sometimes it's a bit chaotic, so we'll have to see if there's a little bit of chaos here with the 09 of Isaiah Fox starting in first. But as we come to the restart zone for what I believe is the 3rd restart of the day, Isaiah Fox is going to lead us, and he's going to actually wait a little bit in the box, go in the middle. He's going to get clear, I believe, of this 96, and he's going to take control of this race here in Auto Club. As we see a few drivers remain on pit road after that accident. Jordan Parker, John Lewis, the 48 of Darrell Klotz, the 24 of Christopher France, and the 3 of Hansen. So some major players already facing major difficulties in this race, as there's only 16 drivers now on the lead lap. As Tanner Siddon is already going for a move on the 09 of Fox, maybe a little bit newer tires. He may have stopped on that previous caution. Gets by Fox easily. Fox is going to slide behind the 96 of Siddon and try and go for a move likely into turn 1. We'll have to see what Fox is able to do here. Joey Beam sits in 3rd. Joshua Hahn sits in 4th. Kenneth Colson 5th. Taylor Auten 6th. Dave Stinson 7th. Thomas Adams sits in 8th. Jordan Auten in 9th. And Lucas Lewis remains in 10th. Actually just gets passed by Josh Mason for that position. Let's go ahead and take a look at this mid-pack, as it looks like a bit of chaos back here once again. As Jordan Parker, you can see, coming back out on track, is 2 laps down. Is going to need a few cautions. He's guaranteed 1. But it looks like Trent Siddon is going to get his lap back under the stage. So Jordan needs a little bit of chaos here. He might get it, as Jordan Auten slides up into Joshua Mason, almost puts him in the wall. That could have been one of the cautions that Jordan needs. And what do you think about some of the racing in 3 wide we see right now, Tyler?
I mean, I feel like, you know, it's still early. We're only in stage 1. 3 wide I can understand, sometimes if we're coming down, maybe one to go, white flag for the stage coming out, maybe a race finish. I just feel like 3 wide is still a little early, You don't want to push the limits. Everybody's still trying to get comfortable and warmed up. And, especially with the cautions we've had today, you have obviously room on this track. It's pretty wide in the corners, but still one slip up 3 wide and you've practically piled everybody up.
Right, and we see the 12 of Taylor Auten. Looks like he got loose on the front stretch, maybe a bad bump. Hit the wall and is going to fall back in that 12 machine. It was an interesting, I guess you could say an interesting issue.
Went down, hit 22. He looks to be a little bit loose in that car. He maintained it out the corner, but almost sideswiped the 22 low end right there.
Yeah, it's an interesting decision or issue to have, especially in this car. This car tends to build really tight. The short tracks, it does tend to build really loose because it depends on really what tire you're driving off of. On tracks like this, you tend to drive off of the right front, and on the shorter tracks, you tend to drive on the right rear. So a track like Auto Club, it's more likely to get tight, whereas a track like Martinsville or Phoenix, it's more likely that you're going to build extremely loose to a point where you're going to spin.
Right.
So, the 96 of Tanner Siddon gets in the wall. The 28 of Colson's also going to clear up in front of Joey Beam. So Kenneth Colson's going to take control of this race after a mistake from Tanner Siddon. So it's Kenneth Colson, Joey Beam, the 12 of Taylor Auten, who's made his way back up after his issue on the front stretch. As he's actually going to go bottom of 3 here under Joey Beam. So it looks like that run off of 4 is very much on for the 12 of Taylor Auten. As he's actually going to clear the 41 of Beam. Taylor Auten is going to move up into second. So Race Chatter currently holds the top 2 spots, as well as 4th place with Joshua Hahn.
And look now, Kenneth Colson, like you said, that new leader is pulling away right now, trying his best to pull away as far as possible from the pack, holding that line. He's already got Taylor Auten back 0.4, and it's slowly growing.
Well, the biggest thing for Colson right now, a lot of this field has some sort of damage. The 12 had that damage from the front stretch. It looks like the Joey Beam might have a few scratches on his front nose. Obviously, we saw the 96 get in the wall. I haven't seen Hahn involved in anything, so it looks like he's trying to make his way up through the field. So a lot of these cars do have damage, and I think that's helping the 28 of Colson because it allows him to pull away just a little bit easier from these cars. And, you can see that gap. While it's not gaining at the tenths of a second, it is, he's a lot faster in the corners. And you're kind of seeing a lot of the reason why. Joey Beam actually cuts across the 42 of Hahn. It looks like Hahn might have kind of Hahn's going to get put in the wall. Looks like John Deed's gotten to the 42 of Hahn. So, to scratch that, Hahn is going to have damage compared to this 28 of Colson. We see Taylor Auten looking for a move on this 28 car. Kenneth Colson remains the leader. May have tagged the wall a little bit there out of 2. So you see the sparks flying up. Auten will slide behind Colson, and will go back to being about 2/10 back. You'll see Joey Beam slide under the 12 of Auten. Obviously, Joey Beam, we just saw have an incident with the 42 of Hahn, so we'll have to see what happens here. He is able to get clear of Auten. So all the Race Chatter cars are lined up on the top. We see John Deeds slide up there, actually catch Hahn. Looks like that's the second time Hahn and Deeds have gotten together in 2 laps. So I don't think Hahn is going to take that, on the chin. I think he's going to want some get back. One time,
it seems like Hahn was throwing his hands in there in that car.
Yeah.
He's not too happy.
One time can be forgiven, but 2 times in 2 laps, that's, at some point it starts to feel intentional. Even if it's not, a lot of drivers will feel like, this is the second time been run into by the same guy in this amount of time, and it'll rile that driver up. As we see Caleb Hess started in the back here after pitting, has been the leader for the first part of this race, is starting to get back up into the top 5. You see him in 5th. His teammate of Gage Burns hasn't made the same amount of progress. He sits 8th. So we're going to see, actually we see Callahan up there as well. So we're going to see if these Toyotas are able to get around these cars. The Toyotas have fresher tires. It looks like they have been able to work together a little bit more. They don't have damage compared to the 3 cars in front of them. So we'll have to see what they're able to do as they clear the 41 of Beam. They're looking on the inside of the 22 of Deeds.
Caleb Hess is slowly going down, trying to make his move across these 3-4s that are holding this pack up right now.
Well, Caleb Hess has the fresher tires. So Hess and Callahan, right now, they're trying to get up there because with 14 to go in the stage, they want their stage points. So, you know, they're just doing what they can right now to be in the top 10. Obviously, what Caleb Hess really wants, he wants that playoff point. Caleb Hess has the ability to go out any week and win one of these races, but he just doesn't have luck on his side. As we see Taylor Auten get in the wall once again. As you see Callahan dive low, looks like he's going to hang out possibly this 51 of Caleb Hess. Just has a better run than that 51. And he's going to go to the bottom with John Deeds in front. We'll see what Callahan is able to do, if anything, into turn 1. I mean, do you think we see these Toyotas go back to the top spot, or do you think they're going to get stuck behind these Fords for a little bit?
I feel like as of right now, as you can see, the top line is Ford dominant. They have been holding, yes, they've been making passes on each other here and there, but once they've gotten in, I mean, even side by side right now, their rhythm is practically impeccable. You have one low blocking everybody else, even though it might cost him a position. You got to think that at some point in time, these manufacturers are slightly going to work together until the end of the race.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, so Callahan has a partnership with Tricon. So that 81 and the 91 who has not made it tonight, they are constantly, you know, they have that alliance as Toyota teammates with the 51, the 55, the 11, and the 15. So the biggest thing for them is kind of exploiting that partnership. As we see that 12 get in the wall, Caleb Hess is going to go through. Caleb Hess is going to go from 5th to 2nd in one turn just because the mistake by the 12 of Auten. You see John Deeds slide up to the top. We may see a move for the lead here in 3 and 4. Is Caleb Hess going to go for it? He dives low. Caleb Hess to the inside of Kenneth Coulson. We'll see if he's able to clear here. He's alongside. And Caleb Hess is going to clear Kenneth Coulson. The Toyota 51 car of Caleb Hess back to the lead.
This race is going to keep going. He is side by side, getting that side draft off him as much as possible, but he has too many. He has 5 cars on that top line, so it's going to be hard here to see
actually Gage
how this
Burns
battle's going to go.
Sorry, but I saw Gage Burns on the bottom of my screen there going for a massive dive up the inside. It looks like it worked out for him. He's gone from 10th to 5th in the last few laps here. As we see that
been moving as well.
Yeah, we see that bottom side kind of fall off, and I think some of that's because Coulson is on those old tires. Burns, Callahan, and Hess are on newer tires, and you're seeing it reflected in the times. That gap between Hess and Deeds is going to remain about 2/10 because Deeds is going to have the straight line speed because he's in the draft of Caleb Hess. But watch this time in the corner. Hess has already gained all that time back from the straightaway by the time they get to turn 2. And then you'll see Deeds start to reel the 51 back in, and it'll be the same thing for the next 10 laps. As we see Auten go to the inside, looks like that 55 of Burns maybe lost a little bit of momentum, stuck behind the 28 of Coulson. He's going to be stuck in the middle of 3 here with Beam on his outside. As we'll see what he's able to do here. The 12 is going to slide across the 55's nose. The 55... Oh, the 12 of Auten gets turned. And that's going to be another caution. We saw that on camera. I finally caught another one live. Looks like the...
I believe.
Oh, when he gets hit, it looks like he got hit again. Sorry, I'm like way back. That is not the same crash. We're going to go ahead and see what happened here. It was the 12 of Auten. You could see him slide up in the corner when he slid across the 55 of Gage Burns. And then you see him start to keep going up. You see him start to approach this 41 up here on the top. He kind of like collects his car and then just goes to... oh, it looks like the 41 of Beam actually might come down.
Yeah, the 41 of Beam caught him. Beam is the one that spun him after he made contact. You know, he came up a little bit too high there.
Oh! Actually, Auten came back down the track and caught somebody. I'm not entirely sure who that is.
He caught the 64 of Thomas Adams on the apron, and Adams' front is demolished. That might be the end of his race.
It likely is, as NARAS has no fast repairs here. Taylor Auten actually did end up jumping to the pits. We're going to go ahead and ride along here with this 64 machine.
64 caught a bad brunt of that wreck right there.
So you can see Auten there, and you see him start to drive down the track, just kind of no regards. Adams tries to slide down and just... He wasn't able to avoid Auten because there was no chance with Auten driving down the track with oncoming traffic.
Yeah, it's a tough one, and it's unfortunate because the 64 already chose his lane to go around, and it just happened to be wrong place at the wrong time.
And I mean, you can't think that the race control and the league, they're not going to be happy with a move like that, because it's very often that you see an issue like that continue, and the league just isn't happy with those kind of issues, as my SDK doesn't like me now. So, I mean, we'll have to see what happens here. Obviously, we have the 51 of Hess still in the lead. I think all the Toyotas you'll see stay out. So it's really just... I mean, we'll have to see what happens here with... The question right now is how many laps is it to go? I think the 51 of Hess kind of is in a position where he doesn't have to worry about the other cars because he has newer tires than the cars behind him. I mean, we're continuing to lose big players right now, as Trent Sidden is going to be put back on the lead lap here in the 99. So Jordan Parker will receive the lucky dog, I believe, at the end of this stage, depending on what happens with the 99, 64, and 12.
Well, as of right now, if my records are correct, it looks like John Lewis is a lap down. I'm not sure if Caden Hansen is still in it, but he says he is 5. And then it would be Jordan Parker behind John Lewis at 3 laps down, if I'm not mistaken, if that's correct.
Well, I see John Lewis is 13 laps down. On here, I've got Parker in 18th at 5. I've got the 48 at 5. So really, Parker is having to fight for this lucky dog. But once he gets it, I think he's gonna. Actually, it looks like, or no, yeah. Once he gets that lucky dog, I think he should be fine as long as he gets that little bit of chaos that he needs. He just needs to not be part of that chaos.
Yeah.
That's kind of the biggest thing right now for that 9 car. It's just the third week in a row.
The worst thing that hurt him was that last wreck he was involved in. He had a lot of damage, so he had to sit and pitch for a while, and then when he came out, he just had no draft. And this is a big track to, that'll negatively affect you if you don't have a partner.
Well, Auto Club isn't a track where you always need a partner, but it definitely doesn't hurt to have one. Like, you can make a good run solo. As it looks like this caution was actually extended after the choose cone, so maybe there was an issue that we were waiting on. That could hurt the 9 of Parker, as these laps are going by slower. The cars on pit road are going to be able to get more of their damage fixed before Parker passes them each time. So it's kind of a major incident here, and a big problem right now for this 9 car.
Yeah, you have to think, at this point in time, you got to kind of pick that driver's brain a little bit and think about what he's thinking. With him being laps down and then still having to be in this fight to be in a good position, it gives you a lot of, anxiety. You get anxious. You want to make the runs. You kind of get a little bit aggressive. So you've got to wonder where his mind is at right now as well, on trying to keep that good boundary, keep the median. Don't be too much on the gas, but, kind of give room to the partners around you.
Right, and the question is, actually, I'm seeing Caleb Hess is actually possibly either lost internet or... Hess is gone on my screen, and on the board, he might have lost internet.
Yeah, I think Hess just had a little bit of difficulties.
Wow, Hess is out. Yeah, the 09 of Fox has moved up into first.
Trying to listen into comms right now. Seems like it sounds like the race control is going to go with Tanner Sidden, I believe, the 96.
Yeah, so Tanner Sidden will be the control car here. in a weird change of events, it looks like Caleb has his... I mean, he disappeared. He's not really supposed to do that, but that's a massive change of events, because that was probably one of the fastest Toyotas on track, if not the fastest car. So, honestly, my race favorites are kind of gone. As we see Tanner sitting up front, as we see some contact behind, it looks like the 11 of Lewis and the 33 of Stinson, possibly.
15 laps, he
As
has
I have-
made his way up into the top 10 now. I think the highest he was sitting at was at least 6th. He has been quiet. He has been avoiding all of these wrecks, and he is still holding it in for his team.
So Tricon obviously not having the best stage 1 right now. The 55 of Burns leading the charge. The 11 of Lewis in P10.
Oh, and the 42 just got loose, went down low. He was able to hold it on the apron. That's Joshua Hahn. Another incident. Looks like he might have got a little bump on the end, which kind of got him loose there. He has unfortunately lost those positions and have went all the way down to 13th.
Yeah, and he's
now
continuing to
Corey
lose time.
McWilliams.
So that's a major problem. As we see the 09, 96, 88, and 81 all battling for the stage win, coming to 3 to go. We saw the 09 right on the back of that 96, so you have to wonder, you know, what the 09 has for that 96, as we might see him try and dive to the bottom
Tanner
here.
Sid in the 96, still in the lead. Joshua Mason in the 09 behind him, trying to hold that middle line, giving him no resistance at all, barely any room, as you should.
Mason cleared 4/10
The
on corner
41's
exit
coming in,
alone.
though. They are going 3 wide.
Yeah, Josh
Into
Mason
the
kind of
turn.
ran away
Looks
there.
like the 81's going to try to go in there. 09 and 41 kind of lose the speed to Tanner, excuse me. He's still in it to win it, though. 41 takes the lead.
You're seeing these
at the
cars
low
that drop
line.
to the bottom of 3. Every time you see them drop to the bottom of 3, they're clearing up, and they're gone. Because Joshua Mason is now over half a second clear of second place, and Joey Beam is 3/10 clear, and they're just... These guys stuck in the middle and the top are continuing to lose time, as they're actually maybe going 4 wide here. Is Isaiah Fox blocking that 29? Maybe not a great decision, as the 81 of Callahan is going to go under the 96
right now.
Little bit of chaos there. I wasn't really sure how that was going to end up, but Josh Mason has continued to run away. One of the 2
Got to
Canadians
be
we have in the
wondering
field.
what is going through these drivers' heads right now. We're almost down to the end of the stage, but there's still a lot of fight left to go in this entire race.
As we're on the final lap of stage 1, Joshua Mason has cleared
Most of the pack is broken up right now.
Place.
We still have a couple of car groups together, but there's a lot of separation on this track.
I have to wonder if Mason... When was Mason's last pit lap? He's
Lap
pitted...
40, white
he
flag
pitted 32.
is raised.
So
the
Mason
end of
pit under
stage
that last
1.
caution.
Joshua Mason in that Chevy is sitting in P1. Looks like he's going to take the win for stage 1.
And the biggest thing we see here, the top 3 all pit under that last caution. David Callahan pit on lap 13 or on lap 14. So all the guys that just pit, if they
And
were,
your stage 1 winner.
looks like Caleb Hess is back on the track here. He's credited 2 laps down, so those internet issues.
Joshua Mason, the number 88 car.
And so Josh Mason takes the stage win. Caleb Hess has returned back to the track. The biggest thing is,
And while we are under caution, we will be right back.
as we are going to move to commercial here.
The SDK crash on you too?
Okay, we are back from commercial break. Joshua Mason in the 88 was able to take the stage win. As we see him pit in, we will talk to him after his pit stop. Looks like Jordan Parker will take the wave around.
And man, just to reflect on that stage win, man, the 88 really came out of nowhere. I feel like the 41 was holding it real tight, and he just, from my at least, I think fourth place, just popped out of nowhere and took that low line for the win there.
Well, the biggest thing right now is we saw all these cars that pit under the last caution who took tires go to the bottom under the 09 and the 96. And the 09 and 96 were kind of locked together, and they were slowing each other down, and it allowed those cars on new tires to fly by them and just get absolutely gone. As it looks like Joey Beam is going to lead off a pit road. He chose not to pit under this caution. So Joey Beam will inherit the lead. As we are going to go ahead and pull up the stage winner of Joshua Mason. Josh, this is Owen and Tyler in the booth. You got us?
Yeah, I copy.
So obviously you took tires on the last caution.
Yes.
Where did you come out at? Like what position did you start
I
in?
think it was like 12th or something.
So obviously you flew through the field.
Yeah.
Finally, and once you cleared those leaders, you were gone. So, I mean, do you try another thing like that later on, or is that
Probably not. My strategy was I was thinking that I could make it with just the one set of tires for the stage, and obviously did not work. So I just did a last minute decision and put tires on.
So obviously you've now pit for what, 3 times. You still have 110 laps. How many tire sets do you have left here?
I can't tell you.
Okay, well I'm gonna do math. Okay, so bad news, I'm not good at math. There's 7 tire sets, you've pit 3 times. So you have 4 left for 110 laps.
Maybe I do, maybe I don't. Maybe I have more, maybe I have less.
That's a smart man right there.
Exactly.
I try. All right, well, congratulations on the stage win. Obviously, that I believe is your first of the season.
First ever.
First ever as a rookie. So good luck on this restart, and hopefully we'll talk to you later.
Thank
Good
you.
luck out there, driver.
Thank you.
And that was the 88 of Joshua Mason for Parker Motorsports. His first stage win in this league in his first season. So we will see what he's able to do here. Obviously, we have not gotten to the one to go yet. We are still waiting on that. So we will have to see how this all plays out. As Joey Beam, like we said, chooses to stay out, unlike everyone else on the track. And we'll see what he's able to do. Caleb Hess now 1 lap down. I believe he was the lucky dog last time by. So 1 more caution and Caleb Hess will have another chance at this race. You actually see Trent sitting back on pit road. As we see Joey Beam choose the top, Joshua Mason choose the bottom. You see both Toyota, all 3 Toyotas in the top spots are all lined up on the top. You see the 24. I think the 24 of France, who's 12 laps down, line up on the bottom. He's probably going to get told to move back to allow these lead lap cars to get by, just due to how iRacing does iRacing. So we'll see if Mason is able to get around the 80 or the 41 of Beam. Mason is on 10 lap fresher tires. Everyone else is on 10 lap fresher tires compared to Joey Beam, who chose to stay out under this last caution. So we'll have to see what happens. As we still have, it looks like 14 drivers here on the lead lap. Caleb Hess, the first car, 1 lap down. Then you have a gap back to the 48 of Klotz, 5 laps down. So Hess really looking for a little bit of chaos to get himself back on the lead lap. he could ride around 1 lap down for this entire stage, as he does have a guaranteed caution, so we'll have to see if these guys choose to play it a bit safer than last time. You would think they would have played it safe closer to the end of the stage. That didn't happen. They were still going at it, so we'll have to see what happens here in stage 2.
Yeah, I know most of these drivers are hoping stage 2 is a little bit cleaner than the first one. I mean, obviously, you had a couple solo spins, you had a couple, little taps here and there, but every driver is hoping for a little bit of a cleaner race right now, just for the simple fact that they don't have to waste those tires when they still have a lot of laps to go, and then too much damage to get damaged out. It's just something you don't want to come across.
Yeah, and I will say we did hear the 51 of Hess earlier tell us there was about 33 laps or so in a tank of fuel. There are 35 laps in this stage. Do you think you may see a driver try and go all the way on 1 tank of fuel?
I don't think they'll be able to make it on 1 tank of fuel. It'll be very tricky. You're going to have to sit at the back of a pack and kind of baby your throttle, and I still don't think you'll be able to pull that many laps out. I feel like if someone does, it's going to be risky.
Yeah. Well, really what they're asking here is essentially saving maybe 2.5 laps over the course of 35. As we see Joey Beam once again slide up, I don't know how many times people are going to continue to cut him a bit of slack for that. I think Joey Beam kind of is making a poor impression on people. That's the second time we've seen that happen this race. So we see Tanner Sidden slide down. We see Callahan actually make a move on Mason for the lead here. David Callahan in the Interstate Batteries 81 is going to try to move to the inside of the 88. The 88's going to have the momentum on the top side. So Callahan's going to have to try and regroup, make another run next time by. Maybe try once again into 1. We'll have to see what happens here. Does Callahan dive low? No, he sits behind the 88 of Mason. So going to try and line up the run. Going to try and go for it going into turn 3 of this lap. Joey Beam remains in 5th. There's a minor gap between 2nd and 3rd that may continue to grow with Beam on older tires. Actually, we see Callahan once again kind of sit behind the 88, maybe look for a move, hold a little bit more speed. He's going to get to the inside of Josh Mason.
They are side by side.
We'll see who leads this lap.
Right now.
Oh, Tanner Sidden in the back is getting turned by the 11 of Lewis. Looks like he's going to keep it out of the wall. We're still green, and now the caution comes out. As we saw the 96 of Sidden, they were 3 wide. Kind of gets hit down by Beam. Lewis slides up a little bit. Kind of hooks the 96. He got fortunate enough not to get hit. Maybe the 48 gets in the wall. But it looks like no major damage to that 96 car. Just unfortunate. Got kind of pinched in that 3 wide with the 41 of Beam and the 11 of Lucas Lewis.
I have to give credit to that 96. Yes, he was, bouncing a little bit back and forth, but as soon as he saw that he lost control, he locked up those brakes and really minimized the damage that could have happened right there.
Yeah, very good heads-up driving by the rest of the field to kind of stay on the bottom. I mean, that's the first wreck we've seen in a while where, since that first wreck with Jordan Parker, that you haven't seen the rest of the field barrel into the wreck, which is nice. Looks like Caleb Hess is now going to be given the free pass. He will go back to being on the lead lap. Looks like he likely will pit this time, as he did not pit under the last caution. So it looks like Caleb Hess will take tires. He'll have a little bit fresher tires than the rest of the field. He'll be on the lead lap. He was the fastest car, or one of the fastest cars in the first stage. So there's a very good chance that Caleb Hess, after his internet issues, could still be the car to beat. As we see Carden Hansen in last place, labeled 19 laps down. Likely, I feel like at this point, if you're the 9 of Parker and you're 5 laps down, if you get a really chaotic 2nd and 3rd stage, there's a chance that you can get those laps back. I think it's going to be really iffy. I think if you're more, I think realistically, whoever gets the next free pass is going to be, the last person to get back on the lead lap. I don't think you'll see more than 15 or 16 cars back on the lead lap tonight. As we see the 88 dive into his pit box. Once again, likely, a lot of these pit stops likely just for fuel. As we see the 88 does not get picked up on the tires. They're going to fill the tank. They can make it to the end from here. So a lot of these cars just topping off to make it to the end of the stage. So it looks like Kenneth Coulson actually did get a better pit stop than the 88 of Mason, so he's going to come out. Looks like the 41 of Beam actually stays out again. The 81 of Callahan chooses to stay out, and the 55 of Burns chooses to stay out. The rest of the field decides to pit in for fuel. They're guaranteed to the end of the stage now. I don't understand. I think Callahan can make it to the end. If he saves enough fuel under caution, I think he can save the fuel to get there. Looks like Caleb Hess has been given the free pass. He will now be back on the lead lap. We'll have to see if he pits in this time. He chooses to stay out. He may pit in this time by now that he's caught up to the field, as he'll be told to go to the back anyway, so he may just pit in a little bit later. We'll have to see here what the 51 of Hess does. Looks like the 9 of Parker may have taken a wave around, possibly. Yeah, Parker took a wave around. He's 4 laps down now. So the 9 of Parker looks like he will receive the next free pass. That is major for the 9. As Klotz is on pit road.
Move, though.
Yeah, what he's done is he's kind of guaranteed himself the opportunity at the end of this race. You know, actually he's 3 laps down. Don't know.
Yeah, I believe he's either 3 to 2 laps down right now.
I understand that, but he's
comeback.
gotten back several laps. I don't think. Because there's no way it would have given him the wave around twice. So I'm a little confused on how Jordan was able to get 2 laps back here. You're gonna see him go on a pit road here. So I don't know. Don't know how that's gonna go over with the field there. I don't know how legitimate that was.
I'm very confused by that either, because I don't think I heard anything on scanners.
Sometimes you see people pick up 1 lap. Never do you see someone pick up 2. So I'm not sure how the 9 of Parker has put himself 3 laps down instead of 5.
Well, it also could have been a situation where he was in front of the leader before that caution came out, and then with him still being in front, he took that wave around. Excuse me. That would be like the best and only option for him to have been able to take them 2
Right,
laps.
I understand that, but I mean, even still, it would put him if he took the wave around and then pit.
Right.
He's not allowed to pit afterwards, so he didn't take a wave around. A lucky dog would have been given to the 51 of Hess.
And he did take that.
Yeah, and Hess took the lucky dog, so I don't understand how Parker got 2 wave arounds when he was behind the field, when not all the field pit in. So I'm a little confused, as we are 1 to green here from Auto Club. Looks like we'll go green with about 27 laps to go in the stage. As Parker, now 3 laps down, has kind of locked himself in for the lucky dog unless there's some kind of issue that puts another driver a lap down. It looks like David Callahan, who chose the top, will control the start of this race. And then it'll be Joey Beam behind, Gage Burns in third. Those 3 all stayed out and chose not to pit. Everyone else behind, while they might not have new tires, does have a little bit more fuel than these 3. Although I think Callahan and Burns can stretch it. I don't think the 41 of Beam can make it.
I don't believe so either.
So,
and I mean, especially with his position as well. I mean, unless he drops back a couple and tries to stay in draft.
Well, Beam would have to save like 10 laps.
Yeah, it's just draft will only save you 2. Maybe he doesn't have enough to be able to save on the track.
As we see David Callahan shoot off. Looks like Gage Burns will follow. He shot out of a bullet. So he's already 4/10 clear of second and third. As we see Kenneth Coulson look for a move under Joey Beam, trying to be the first car on guaranteed fuel. So Kenneth Coulson moves up here. He's going to slide into second. He might go for the lead here on the 81 of Callahan. He's going to go from fourth to first possibly in the first lap. As we see the 09 of Isaiah Fox get a little squirrely on the bumps on the backstretch. It's not uncommon, especially here at Auto Club. The backstretch is incredibly bumpy and always has been. As we see the 88 of Mason look to the top side of the 41 of Joey Beam. And Kenneth Coulson will take the lead from fourth on the restart.
I mean, what a move. Solo Ford in the top 5. I mean, he's just putting on a show out there, holding his line and practically trying to take her home already.
Kenneth Coulson did win Las Vegas back in season 1, so he does have a win under his belt in this series. So we'll have to see if he can get a second one tonight, as he's been relatively strong at all the intermediates in this season and last season that he went to. So he has the speed to do so. Some of it here, especially with these cars, is just the timing of it. As we wait to see what Hess is able to do. Hess currently sits 12th in that 51 car. I don't believe he pit that last time. Yeah, Caleb Hess has not pit since lap 35. Which was still more recent than the 41 of Beam. Beam can only go probably 10 or 15 more laps here. I just don't see him making it to the end of the stage.
No, I don't. If he made it to the end of the stage, he'd be parked on the apron.
Right.
I don't see him being able to drive it through all the way.
So, realistically, Joey Beam right now, he wants it to go long enough that he can take a set of tires and it not be a waste. But he needs to also realize that if this stage goes green, he's going to end up a lap down. Right. And that is a major risk for the 41 of Beam. As we see
right
Callahan
now,
continue to lead.
There's a lot more risk than reward. I mean, you can see he's driving conservative. He's kind of minding his own in between. He's not really pushing it too aggressive, but that could also hurt him as well, not being up and close as we have a
11
wreck.
of Lewis.
Looks like him and the 33 of Dave Stinson just got into it at the wall.
The 11 of Lewis. That was an interesting thing to come back to. So it looks like he just gets turned by the 33 of Stinson. Then catches the 42 of Hahn. I need another look at that.
Yeah, you are correct by that. He definitely got turned by Stinson there.
Looks like Stinson just turns down off the corner. Yeah, Stinson just down a little bit. He Austin Hilled him. That quite literally is like exactly what happened in the Xfinity race. That is insane. That looks like an intentional right hook from Dave Stinson, your Daytona 500 winner.
That is the second time Dave Stinson has been in a wreck like that off the high side.
Yeah, but I think this is the first time he's been genuinely at fault for it. As we see Joey Beam on my relative, at least, is on pit road. I want to take a look at this. I want to take a look at this from the in-car of Stinson. So let's go back a little bit. Let's see if there's a little bit more to this. So Stinson's in the middle, right? He's coming out of the corner. You see Lewis on the bottom. He just... Stinson just keeps the wheel turned in like he's still in the corner.
Yeah, and he was full in gas too. He never let up.
So I don't know. Once again, that's another thing I don't think race control is going to be super happy about. It looks like you're going to have a lot of stuff to look at, later this week, as we see Josh Mason, the 09 of Isaiah Fox, stays out. Fox has kind of been in and out of this top 5, top 10 all night. It kind of just depends on where he's at, as we see Jordan Parker once again getting another lap back. So does the 15 of Lewis. And it looks like the 12 of Auten. So looks like everyone getting their laps back right now. I think due to the chaos at the start, they are allowing drivers to get those back. Looks like Jordan Parker is actually going to be on the lead lap now, based on my relative. So Parker, who had that incident, actually had several incidents in a row. No luck tonight for him. Looks like he will have another shot here on the lead lap, so we'll see what he's able to do. Isaiah Fox will inherit the lead here from the 88 of Josh Mason, as we are going to go ahead and cut to commercial. And we are back from commercial here at Auto Club Speedway for the California Dreamin' 300. Isaiah Fox has inherited the lead on pit cycles as the only driver to stay out. We have seen Jordan Parker go from 5 laps down to 1 lap down in the last few cautions. And you have to wonder what he's able to do when he's able to get back onto that lead lap. As you see him actually maybe going around, he's going to get that last lap back this time. Jordan Parker, looks like coming to 1 to go until we go green, is going to be back on this lead lap. So we'll have to see what this 9 can do in the Napa Gold 100-year anniversary scheme. Once again, Isaiah Fox. Sorry, you can go.
No, just looking earlier, to add on to what we were talking about with Jordan, within the first 15 laps of the beginning of stage 1, he practically made his way up from the back all the way up to at least 9th. So are we going to see this again in stage 2 and see if he could take the stage 2 win?
Well, I mean, we saw him get up into the top 5 actually in the first 4 laps. So while, yes, we did see him make a lot of moves, you also have to wonder to what end does it kind of, ruin his tires. As tire management, especially here at Auto Club, I know while we still have 7 sets, and that seems like a lot, and really it is, but somewhere like Auto Club that can easily rip your tires up if you're not careful, you can go through those sets really quickly if you take them every single pit cycle. So you kind of have to find a way to time out when you're going to take each set of tires. I usually have a general idea of whenever I race, I have a general idea of how many laps I want to run before I consider those tires too old to a point where they can be competitive. And you also have to look at a point of how many laps are left until I'm guaranteed a caution or the end of the race, and how many positions do I think I can keep. Because if you can go from 1st to 5th when you were 10th, that's a net gain. You're going to stay on those old tires and wait till that guaranteed caution when everyone's going to pit in. So it really is a strategy game here, as we see Isaiah Fox coming to the restart zone as he's going to shoot off once again in about the middle of the restart zone. You see it check up a little bit in the mid-pack. And the big story right now is you're going to see Jordan Parker back there in that gold Napa machine. He's gotten back to the lead lap after the 2 incidents he was involved in. And we'll have to see what he's able to do. Isaiah Fox currently leads the race 3.5 tenths ahead of the 99 of Trent Sidden, who was also involved in one of those early accidents. Caleb Hess, back from his internet issues, has gotten all the way back up to 3rd, as he is now finally pit this last time by on lap 58. So Hess led a lot of laps early, got back to the lead as internet went out on a late restart. So we'll have to see what he's able to do. As Caleb Hess moves to 2nd, following the 09 of Isaiah Fox down the track. He's going to probably try and make a move here into 3 or 4. So we'll have to see. He's going to try and clear this 99. Try and slide up the track if he's able to. I don't think he'll be able to because he doesn't have enough speed. Actually, he will clear this time off of 2. He'll slide up.
Very close.
Yeah, but I mean, that's what he has to do, especially, you know, when you've been down for so long. Hess going to look for a move into 3. Try and go inside the 09 of Isaiah Fox. We'll see if he's able to make that move here.
Has a lot of speed in this corner.
Well, he is. They're all on 8-lap newer tires, I believe, than Fox, if not just fuel. So I know Hess is on newer tires because his last pit lap had been about 30 laps prior. So it's highly... Oh, we actually seen the 99 get stuck to the wall there. Looks like he's still stuck in the wall, so a big loss there for the 99 of Trent Sidden. Is Jordan Parker's...
all the way back to 10th place.
Yeah, Jordan Parker's not made up the time he wants to be getting right now. He's still sitting back there in 13th, way behind this front pack. So Callahan actually moves all the way up to 2nd. I don't know where Callahan came from. Isaiah Fox moves to the bottom. Looks like he cut off Coulson a little bit. You now have 3 Toyotas lined up on the top there in Hess, Callahan, and Gage Burns. Gage Burns making his debut for Tricon in the 55. Got signed earlier this week, so trying to impress the team and earn the respect of the other Toyotas in the field. As we see Kenneth Coulson slide up to the outside of Isaiah Fox. It's probably about the time you're going to see Fox start to slide back since he's on those older tires. And since he's stuck on the bottom, he's not going to... Oh! The 55 of Burns gets turned by the 28 of Coulson. Looks like he collected the 41 of Beam as well. So we're going to try and look at this again here.
Not much damage.
Well, the big thing for Burns, he didn't get damage from the 28. He got damage from when he got turned up into the 41 of Joey Beam. But yeah, it looks like they both just... Looks like Gage wanted to go down. Kenneth wanted to stay in that 2nd lane. You actually see Gage here right behind that 28. I wonder if anything happens here, if he just kind of chooses not to retaliate. We'll have to see later. Looks like... Yeah, I don't think the 55 of Burns is happy with that 28, but I don't think it was egregious enough to go out and, you know, kind of show his disapproval. As it looks like Joey Beam is going to get some major damage tonight once again. So Caleb Hess had internet issues, went 2 laps down at the end of stage 1. Looks like he's back on the lead lap, back in the lead. David Callahan is back with him in 2nd. This is kind of shades of Atlanta now, where you see Hess in front and Callahan in 2nd. They're working together.
Absolutely. You know, it's just been a dominant night so far for a lot of other teams. I mean, there's been a lot of laps led from different manufacturers, different teams, but I feel like Caleb has kind of had his head on his shoulders, I would say roughly more than the others, and is now got his #1 spot back. But it's just a lot of manufacturers kind of broken up. So with him only having another Toyota, he has at least 3-4 Fords behind him. So it's going to be tough to see if those Fords can get around those 2 Chevys and kind of work together and push those Toyotas back out of this pack.
Yeah, as we're really just waiting to go 1 to green here, as you see some of these lap cars getting all their laps back to be able to go for this race. So there's a good chance by the time we get to the final stage, a lot of these guys we saw taken out in that really early wreck on about lap 12 or 13, there's a chance that they can come back up here and go back to fighting for this win. I think the biggest person involved in that wreck probably is the 9, because he was the one that was moving through the field the most. He's moved up to 7th after some people chose to pit in under this caution, so we'll have to see what he's able to do here. The question, we just really don't know. This race has kind of turned itself on its head, so
right.
I mean, we'll have to see here.
I feel like this will be a really interesting restart, though, depending on where everybody sits on this this first corner. You got your pick back into it, Jordan. He's back on lead lap.
Yeah, both.
John Deeds is now broke top 5. He's in 3rd.
Yeah, Deeds has been he's been up here, but he's kind of been a little bit. He's been involved in some incidents when he gets up here, especially when him and that 12 were together. So I think he kind of has to relax. He doesn't have his teammate of Corey Rainey with him today. Rainey won last week at Atlanta. He's locked himself in the playoffs. Deeds kind of needs to do the same. He ran really well the last 2 weeks. Obviously had that issue at the end of Las Vegas. Then kind of him and Mason got together on the second to last lap of Atlanta out of 4, and that caused that last incident that the caution wasn't thrown for. So he's kind of been in these positions to go out and win races, and either has been a little too impatient like Atlanta, or just kind of been unlucky like Vegas. Now Vegas, he did originally get him and Lucas Lewis did get together, and it turned Deeds down the track. It did not wreck Deeds. So when they had 5 laps to go on a restart, Deeds was going for the lead, and he slid up and took himself and Lewis out. So just kind of needs to understand when and when not to, get all over the gas and all that. As we see Caleb Hess and David Callahan lead us to green. Hess is going to get another good jump. He'll only get about 2/10 clear of Callahan compared to the 4/10 we saw Isaiah Fox get earlier in this race. Jordan Parker's already moved up to 6th due to the choose cone. So we'll see what he's able to do here on this restart. Obviously, Jordan's going to be very aggressive. Kind of feels like he has nothing to lose at this point. He's not the points leader. He really desperately wants that win. As we already see him going to the bottom of 3. Looks like
29's kind of blocked him a little bit.
Yeah, the 29 of Jordan Naughton looks like he's going to try and cut that run off. We see Hess and Deeds 1 and 2. Mason fighting Callahan for that 3rd place position. Then you have... Actually, Mason's going to pull up next to the 22.
He thought about cutting in front of the 81, but he just did not have enough room. He's going to have to get back in that draft and try to make something work.
Well, you don't want to be too aggressive to a point where, you're taking yourself out. As you now see Parker start to fall back. He's fallen back to 7th. He's slower than this 51 of Hess. You have to wonder if maybe he's saving tires because he had to use so many sets earlier in this race.
Right, we still have at least 80 laps to go.
Right. As we see Coulson go, looks like to the inside of the 29 of Auten, wants that position for 5th. Callahan to the inside of John Deeds. You have to wonder if that 51 will go down to support Callahan, and he will. Toyota teammates helping one another. As long as Hess stays ahead of Deeds, it's still a net gain for Hess. As long as he pulls Callahan behind him, that's kind of what Hess wants. As Hess is going to slow down the 22 of Deeds in the corner. It's going to pull Deeds on the back straight, but he's just kind of trying to manage these lanes right now. As you see Coulson looking maybe for a move here on Callahan. Gage Burns has gotten around the 9 of Parker. Looks like Dave Stinson's going to go for the shot next. Actually, Isaiah Fox is going to move to 9th. John Dees once again behind the 51 of Hess.
We're 3 wide for 3rd.
Yeah, but I think, yeah, it already... Oh, we have a caution again in the back. I'm not sure what for. Looks like Tanner Sidden once again. As I'm going to try and find... Oh, looks like him in the 24 possibly. This 24 stays low on the exit. Looks like Tanner gets into him. Didn't look major, but obviously got the 2 turned around. Actually, looks like Tanner might have a little bit of right front damage. 24 not happy. Pulls down in front of the 96. Still doing burnouts. Yeah, the 24 of Christopher France. It's one of them. Christopher France. Not happy with the 96 of Sidden, but I don't think Sidden could have gone much lower. Because it looks like he was already on the bottom there. But Caleb has to lead. Looks like a similar way to finish the stage as the last one. So we'll have to see what happens here. You have to wonder if Parker will try and pit in for tires and then maybe go for it. But it looks like he's going to stay out here. John Dietz did decide to pit in. With the last stage being 70 laps, I think really you have to pit. You're going to want to pit at the end of the stage because you're going to want tires. You're going to want fuel, because I think if you play your cards right, you can do the final stage on one stop. It is going to be extremely close. You might almost not make it. You might almost make it to the line and run out right before. It all depends on how you play the cards when the race goes green. If there's a caution, that changes it as well. It all depends on if there's a caution and when the caution is. This is now more of a fuel strategy race than it is a tire race, at least as of right now.
Right. I feel like these drivers are really depending on a couple more of these cautions to come out, obviously not being involved in them. But with these cautions, it gives them more of a time to kind of cruise and coast. Sometimes, you know, you can turn your car off and try to save as much as possible. But I feel like they're praying for at least a few cautions in stage 3 just to kind of soften that blow on fuel just a little bit.
Right, but at the same time, like, these drivers, they don't want to run this race until 12 at night. And, you know, right now that you're looking at something like that because you're almost halfway through this race. We've been green for about an hour and 15 minutes. You've gotten 73 laps done. That's how many cautions we've had. We've done, on average, about a lap a minute. So some of these drivers, they just want to be done. So they're like, can we go green, go to the end? Obviously, you still have that caution at the end of the stage. You have those drivers who want to be clean and want to get to the end, but you also have those drivers who really want the win. They really want the points. They don't care how long it takes as long as they get a shot at it. And that's really you're gonna see who does the best of balancing that, of being aggressive but not to the point that it's going to cause another caution. And I think if we go green, you're going to see a bunch of different strategies, or you might see everyone pit on the same lap. You never really know, and we'll have to see. But coming to the end of stage 2, there's no fuel strategy yet, but I mean that's something you have to look forward to in this last stage. But Caleb Hess is going to lead the field here with looks like it's going to be 6 to go, coming to the line. So we'll have to see. Josh Mason, your stage 1 winner, lines up first on the bottom. David Callahan lines up second on the top. Then Kenneth Coulson second on the bottom. You have all 3 Toyotas once again lined up on the top side. So really just looking to see who's able to get the best start. Manufacturer teammates on the top. A little bit of a hodgepodge there on the bottom. Looks like a Chevy, then a Ford, then another Ford. Then maybe that 09 of Fox, then that 9 of Parker. So it's really just looking to see what's available. So we will have to see. As the pace car is going to pull onto pit road, Caleb Hess is once again going to be the control car as we go into the restart zone with David Callahan behind him. Hess is going to shoot off in about the middle. Isn't going to get the jump that he wanted, so Josh Mason is actually going to be able to pull up alongside in turn 1, I think. David Callahan now is listed ahead. Oh, it looks like Carton Hansen didn't get going in the back there. You saw him wiggling and everyone kind of file out around him, so we'll have to see if anything happens there. Hansen credited in 22nd, 11 laps down. Josh Mason is clear of the 51 of Hess. He had a really good start, is able to capitalize on that. Looks like he's actually going to make contact there. Almost hits Coulson. It's an aggressive move possibly from Hess. Might have almost put us under caution once again. Coulson's going to clear the 88. The 29 of Jordan Naughton is going to try and get up there. Isn't going to be able to get in front of the 81. The 88 of Josh Mason, looking to win both stages, moves to the bottom, is going to try and go around the 28 of Kenneth Coulson. The 51 of Hess is now back in this battle. He's going to choose to stay up top behind that 28. We'll see if he's able to generate a run here on the bottom. 88's going to... Ooh, that was close. 88 goes up in front of Coulson. Coulson goes to the middle. Caleb Hess goes to the bottom. He's going to have probably the best line here. He's going to be able to clear to the top. No, Coulson's going to be able to hold it wide open on his inside. Coulson's going to get close to the wall here. He's going to be able to keep it out. Coulson did a really good job there making sure that Hess could not clear up ahead of him. David Callahan looks like he's going to take a shot now at the 28. We'll see what he's able to do here. Hess is going to slide back to 5th and fall in line. The 09 of Isaiah Fox, who I believe pit for tires the last time by, has moved all the way back up to 4th. As he's going to go under
Mason
the 88.
They're not giving no room.
Oof. Yeah, Mason tried to pinch that 9, almost caused another accident. The 22 of Deeds gets in the back of the... Oh, another quick lunge. We're
Whoa.
seeing a lot of aggressive moves here. Yeah, a lot of very aggressive moves here. I don't know how much some of these drivers are liking them. John Deeds starting to lose a little bit of speed. Got stuck on the bottom. Caleb Hess trying to make another run. 3 laps to go in stage 2. So we'll have to see what's possible here. Caleb Hess once again on the top. Callahan trying to get around the 28 of Coulson. He's going to have the run on the top. Looks like Callahan's going to try and get clear. Will Caleb Hess go to the bottom of 3 here? Looks like he's going to choose to stay behind the 81 of Callahan. The Toyota team, you got 3 Toyotas on the top. Gage Burns is now back into the top 5. Actually, John Dees is going to put him 3 wide, throw it into the middle. Callahan and Coulson.
Side by side even.
Yeah, I don't know how much this field is going to be happy with the 22 of Deeds with some of the moves he's made. They've been really aggressive. Obviously, it's the end of the stage. As we go to the end of stage 2, Callahan is clear of the 28 of Coulson. It looks like he's going to try and drag the 51 of Hess with him. We'll see what the 51's able to do, but if he can't get a run here, it may be stage over. As it looks like the 09's going to jolt up to the top here. 51's going to follow the 81. Looks like he might be clear of the 28 here. I believe he is. 28's going to get the run on the bottom, but Hess is going to be able to hold it wide open on the top. So Hess is going to have the opportunity going into turn 1 here. As he's going to have the run, as Deeds gives a massive push to the back of the 51. Looks like the 51's going to try and relay that to the 81. You see Isaiah Fox moves to the bottom. John Deeds stays on top. Same with Coulson. Hess, Callahan, Isaiah Fox seems to be the only one in the top 5 that's chosen to go low. 51's going to get around the 81, is not able to make the move because of the positioning of the 09. Looks like he has the ability to make the move now. We'll see what he does. He stays in about the middle. He's going to follow Callahan. Looks like Callahan's going to take the stage. Oh! Deeds is going to push Hess up the track.
Oh, there's a wreck.
Deeds' aggressive move is finally bit him. As Hess is not going to be happy about that. Oh my God, Stinson just arc brakes all the way through the wreck. As John Deeds just continued to clear himself and Stinson just drives through the pair of them.
Oh, Stinson headed on Deeds.
As I don't understand the move from Deeds. I understand it's the last lap of the stage, but you can't make a move like this. And
I mean, it was too aggressive.
And this is what I said earlier, where you see Deeds kind of making these really aggressive moves that are costing himself and other drivers. You see Deeds is on the inside of the 51 of Hess. Hess goes to slide up. Deeds shoves it to his inside, puts the Hess in the wall, and just gets turned. I mean, Deeds just never gave Hess room at all. So, and then you just see Stinson barrel in here and destroy both of them. So, it's likely Stinson will be found, and he just drives up into the 51 of Hess. So, Stinson's going to be held accountable for something. Deeds likely will be held accountable for something. I don't understand the thought process from either of them.
Very confusing. And I mean, to be honest, I kind of felt like something was going to come out of the 22 of Deeds. The 2 laps previous as well, he was really bumper to bumper on the 51 in the corners.
Right.
And you kind of saw that aggression starting to come out. Of course, with it being that last lap, unfortunately, that caution did finish stage 2. You know, I kind of figured something was going to come. A lot of people were trying to send it 3 wide. And of course, that's just the ramifications of trying to hold.
So once again, the 51 of Hess kind of been taken out of contention. Obviously, with whatever's going on with getting laps back, you may be able to come back. I'm not really sure. I believe David Callahan is your stage winner. So we're going to go ahead, pull the 81 up, and see what he has to say. If it'll let me. Callahan, this is Owen and Tyler in the booth. You got me?
Yeah, I got you. What's up?
So, obviously you won the stage. But you really... I mean, what are your thoughts on what happened with Caleb Hess there at the end?
I hate it. I really didn't see exactly what happened because I was gritting my teeth and trying to win this stage, but yeah, I hate it because his computer crashed early. He left for a little while and fought back, get on the lead lap, got up to the lead even, and just yeah. Oh wait, I was supposed to be low. And then got screwed. So I hate it for him. Hopefully he can get back out here and get his laps back, and yeah, we'll continue working together. And looks like it's up to me and Gage now.
I mean, do you know how much damage that 51 has?
He had like 30 seconds worth of required, but like 4 minutes optional. I think he had some wheel damage.
Yeah,
so...
he would have been fine, but Stinson like full throttled into the wreck.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. Some guys maybe have some market breaks out here, but it's a fast track. You're going 190 plus the entire time, so it's not easy to get on the brake, but we got to be a little more attentive.
all right, well, we're gonna go ahead and move you back into your VC. Good luck, and hopefully we'll be talking to you at the end of the race.
Alrighty, good deal. I appreciate it.
Yep. That was stage 2 winner David Callahan. So, I mean, obviously some tempers seem to be showing a little bit. We'll have to see what happens here. As it's starting to get a little bit chaotic, and I don't know how I feel about it. Because like I said, some of these drivers are they're getting too aggressive for their own good because they want the win badly, but they're kind of screwing themselves over at the same time. So Isaiah Fox is going to be the control car in the 09 season debut once again. He's going to get clear once again, does that kind of mid-box start. Callahan's going to file behind. He gets 3/10 clear of Coulson. Callahan's going to get clear to the top. We'll see how this final stage plays out. So right now, everyone knows if you save enough, you can make it on Tuesday. Oh, Isaiah Fox gets loose. He's going to slide back up the track. There's a caution behind. Oh, the 9 of Parker. Once again, spinning onto the inside of the backstretch once again tonight. Looks like John Deeds once again. Maybe on his own. Oh, that may not be on his own.
Nah,
Looks like the
29 there.
Hess got involved somehow. And it looks like Hess, maybe while taking himself out, might have gotten his get back. Looks like you saw... Okay, so we see Caleb Hess. He's back on track. He has damage.
Oh,
He just gets loose.
Looks like he just lost it. Yeah, he just lost it.
And Deeds just has nowhere to go. So, bad day gets worse for the 51 of Hess. Deeds kind of gets a little bit of it, which is ironic because obviously they were the last caution. We saw Jordan Parker also get turned, so I am interested in seeing what happens here. We saw him kind of get turned down the backstretch. Looks like he gets under the 96. Then while they're checking up, just gets rammed the back of the 29, just runs through him. Jordan Parker, once again, lucky not to hit a wall here on this inside, but not going to be happy with the 29 of Jordan Alton, who just drives through him under caution. So, once again, bad day gets worse for some of these drivers.
There are a lot of tempers flying right now on that racetrack. We've had, I feel like this is at least our 6th to 7th caution of the night. It's been rough for some people. We've had a lot of people that have been wrecking recurringly, Caleb Hess, Jordan Parker. So it's, for those drivers, it's got to be difficult. And that's unfortunately where sometimes the line gets blurred and you get a little bit more aggressive. And this is where some of these situations come from.
Yeah, so I mean, you're seeing some of that aggressiveness start to come out, and it's becoming more and more of an issue as this race continues to go on. So, I mean, at what point does a push come to a shove, you see someone go to race control, and at what point do people start not being allowed to race anymore? Because this is starting to become like a consistent issue, and race control is going to have a really fun time after a race like this.
Yeah, it's gonna be a stressful day for race control at the end of this situation.
So, 09 of Fox looks like he's going to take the top side here. Callahan's going to go to the bottom. Kenneth Coulson, waiting to make his choice, is also going to choose the bottom line. So 88 and the 55 both go to the top. I'm interested in seeing what's going on here with some of these other drivers. Obviously, we see Hess still on pit road. Him and Deeds both. Looks like Deeds might have been forced to tow. I think Hess might have been able to drive it back. And we see the 11 of Lucas Lewis is now 2 laps down, so just needs 2 more to get back in the lead lap. We saw him fighting early. The 15 of John Lewis has gotten back to the lead lap. The 24 of France is 1 lap down. So a lot of guys who were stuck a few laps down earlier starting to get back, you know, into a position where they can fight for this win. And it's not helping the aggressiveness. Allowing the people to get back on the lead lap is not helping with how aggressive these guys are getting, because they know if they wreck, they can just get all their laps back. And that's the risk versus reward, that you don't have that risk anymore. It's just reward, because you know there's a high chance you're going to be able to have that opportunity once again. And I think it's causing issues with the aggressiveness of the race. I think at that point, just give them the fast repair. If you're just going to give them the last back, I think you just give them the fast repair. So, I don't know. But we're going to see the 09 of Isaiah Fox once again lead this. The caution saved him, because he lost the lead actually right after the caution came out. As Isaiah Fox is going to get going, Callahan on his inside. Callahan actually got a really good start there. We're going to see what Callahan's able to do. You see the 9 of Parker. Looks like he got all his spots back because he got wrecked after the caution. Callahan's actually going to go to the middle, kind of move the 88 up. We'll slide up to the top. Looks like the 88 might try to slide it in the middle.
Ooh.
He's not able to. Jordan Parker's already back up to 5th on those spun tires. So the 81 of Callahan goes back to the top. The 09 of Fox on older tires stays on the bottom. It's going to slide up here in front of the 81 of Callahan.
Almost went to the wall there.
So you see Callahan maybe looking for a move on the 09. The 09's going to block it. We'll see how many times he can block it, though. Usually you can only block a move once before a turn. NASCAR, a double block is almost never going to work, as you saw in Talladega last year when Michael McDowell blocked Keselowski for like the 8th time and spun himself across Brad's nose. As you see Jordan Parker's moved back up to 4th. He's got his teammate of Mason in 3rd. Mason may be looking for the lead here in 3 and 4. He's on the bottom. Callahan's cleared the 09 of Isaiah Fox. Jordan's going to try and get around the 09 next. We'll see what he's able to do. The 09 goes low, is going to go lower, and he's going to go
wide for first.
Yeah, he's going to go under the 88 and the 81, and he's likely going to be able to slide up in front of this 81 before the exit of turn 2 if he decides to get his foot in the gas. And he doesn't. Looks like he gets tight. The 9 gets tight as well. Ooh. The 9 got tight, and the 88 was like in the middle of the track, and the 9 just wasn't able to get anywhere without running into somebody, so had to back out of the throttle, falls all the way back to 6th, maybe 7th here, as he's going to fight to make those positions back. You're kind of seeing a little bit more of that dirty... Oh, the 9 gets turned by the 29!
Ooh, that's 2 times now that they...
That's 2 times in a row the 9 and 29 have gotten together. And Jordan is not going to be happy about that.
Nah, it's Jordan or Jordan hate right there.
Now let's take a look at this. So Jordan Auten tries to go 4 wide under Hess. He just turned Parker.
Oh yeah.
He just left hooked him.
He hit him on that left rear.
And then spun himself out doing so. Jordan Parker stopped in the grass. Looks like he was able to save it, but the question is if he was able to get moving here, and he was. So
I mean, it's still tough because all that momentum of Jordan just gone right there. Of course, it's just damage to the left side, but that's still going to factor in on the entire night. I mean, it's been hard. For him, it's been very hard. It's been tough.
I want to go back to this caution, because I want to see this again. I want to see this from the perspective of Jordan Auten, because I think there's some foul play here, personally, based on what I see from outside the car. But I have to go inside the car to, kind of see if I'm correct here. So we're going to back up a little bit. We're going to go to the entry of the corner.
I truthfully believe there are tensions because the radio right now is a little extra.
Yeah, so Auten goes high, dives low, gets to the back of Parker, and just drives up the track, and then hooks right. So, to show you again in slow-mo, because everything needs a slow-mo, you can see the wheel inputs of the 29. He tries to get to the bottom of Jordan. He gets to the bottom here. You're still in the corner. He straightens the wheel, straightens it again to go up into the 9, and hooks him, and then is holding the wheel right to save it, and is still holding the wheel right on the inside, just trying to... Yeah, there's quite a bit of foul play here, it looks like.
I would agree with you on that one. I mean, 2 times in a row, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, can't get fooled again.
Yeah. So
it actually looks like the 29 was parked for that.
Yeah, because that's the second time he hit the 9, and that was that was absolutely intentional from what we saw here, at least on the broadcast. So obviously that's going to get double checked by race control. You can't unpark him for that. But I mean, you can't have those moves, and the league won't stand for those moves. And it's stuff like that it just can't happen. I mean, Jordan ran his first race in NARAS last week at Atlanta. I think he was involved in a few incidents, and comes out this week and he's run decent, but once again, because of the length of this race, you're starting to see people get a little bit of temper. It's starting to heat up, and you're getting to a point where you're not getting more than 5 laps before they're wrecking again, and I think there's going to be a few major announcements released this week due to stuff like that, just knowing the league. So
there's definitely going to be a lot of rework as well.
Yeah, I don't see the point in wrecking for 8th right now when there's
it makes no sense.
16 people in the lead lap.
Now, if that was like a playoff spot on the line, the last point you needed to make it to the next round, or a situation like that would be more understandable. But
right,
just to be the 3rd race into the season so far, and we still have at least 57 laps to go. I agree with you. It's kind of an uncalled for move.
And I mean, Jordan has now gone 2 laps down because of it. So it's I don't know. It's unacceptable from a driver standpoint. It's unacceptable and should not be tolerated at all. Oh, right. As Gage Burns is actually going to tag the 48. Didn't look intentional. Just looked like Gage was trying to get up there. 88 follows the 81. As we are back racing. So
94 out of 150. 56 more laps to go.
Yeah, we've got a ways to go in this race. We're just barely past halfway. Well, maybe not just barely. We're about 20 laps or so past halfway. So we'll have to see what happens here.
57 laps left. We've had a lot of wrecks. A lot of different people have been involved in those wrecks. like we said earlier, the tires have already been getting scarce in the beginning of stage 2. At this point in time, a lot of the same people have been getting wrecked out. You know, their spins have been bad. The tires have most likely needed to be replaced. On top of the gas run here, the tires are really going to have a big impact on the finishing positions.
Yeah, and I mean, like, every time you spin, you're going to take tires because those tires are going to be, they're going to be hot. They're going to be worn out because of it. So, you know, these guys that are getting turned multiple times in the race, they don't really have the choice but to either suck it up and lose position or suck it up and lose a set. So, I mean, this, you go out, you be aggressive, you're killing your tires every time you do it if you get spun. Because they're getting too aggressive. You still have 55 laps to go, and they're racing like it's 10 to go. And that's exactly where every issue is coming from right now. And I think it's starting to get to the point where a lot of these guys, like I said, are just trying to knock on the other guys that they've have issues with. And yeah, but we see John Lewis into the top 5 for, I believe, the first time in a hot minute tonight. Gage Burns in 4th. Then you have Klotz in 3rd, Josh Mason in 2nd, and David Callahan in 1st. So you have a Toyota, 2 Parker Motorsports Camaros, and then you have 2 Tricon Camrys. So and then you have both the Sidden brothers as well in the top 10. So I'm hoping, for the sake of everyone's patience, that they go green for at least a little bit. Because they desperately need to at this point. So, you know, we're really hoping for some actual clean racing right now. As we see, the 11 of Lucas Lewis has fallen off the back, 5 seconds behind the leader. You almost wonder if that's some sort of pit strategy thing, or maybe he was getting back up to speed from a pit stop and didn't catch the field in time. I'm not really sure. So we see the 81 of Callahan still leading. He's been one of the fastest drivers all race. It's probably the last major driver that's still in. I mean, the 96 of Sidden, maybe the 09 of Fox, but the Fox is on older tires. Maybe the 28 of Coulson. I mean, obviously the 88 of Mason is still up there, so... I mean, we've lost a lot of really good cars in the last 99 laps, just due to several cautions.
Yeah, I mean, the remaining cars that are here and on lead lap, they have to have some sort of damage. I mean, of course, there's been a couple. I believe David Callahan hasn't been really connected in much so far. I feel like Mason hasn't had much of situations, but you know, it's still going to come into a factor that a lot of the cars in this group are going to have unrepairable damage to an extent, and that's going to kill their time.
Well, and what you've noticed is the 2 cars I think that you can guarantee have not been in an incident, the 81 and the 88, are 1 and 2. Like, yeah. Not being involved in those incidents is paying extreme dividends to those 2 drivers because their car is still 100%. Now, right. Are they going to continue to be 100%? I don't know. We'll find out. But, I mean, they're 3 wide right now for 2nd and like 6th. So
confused there. I thought Mason was going to throw the block on Callahan, but it kind of looked like he went back down and gave him way there.
Well, I think Mason is one of those people that's just trying to tick those laps away. I think Callahan is the same way. They want to get to the end to race it out for the win instead of, you know, leading lap 101. As we see, Mason actually gets down into the 99, I believe, of Sidden. Actually, no, that was the 96 of Tanner. Problem is they look the same.
He came very close, though. I'm surprised he was able to hold that because, I mean, there was barely enough room to put a corner between both sides of the car.
We saw the 48 of Klotz actually get stuck in the wall there in 3 and 4, so... Oh, Klotz gets turned by the 88! Oh! Oh, he's dead. Oh, he's dead. Oh, he's dead.
Yeah, I think that's it for them right there.
Oh, that guy, he's dead. That man is... I
cannot believe my eyes just saw that.
That just happened. that actually I just watched a man die.
And then took out, I believe, the 24.
Oh my
behind
god,
that
the
when he came back down the
09 did a barrel roll, and the 42 got involved. I need a chopper cam of this. This is unreal. This is absolutely unreal. Okay. How does this even... Okay. Nah, hang on. Hang on. We're watching this in slow-mo. Okay, so we're following the 88 here. He bumps the 55. Then looks like he slides up a little bit, catches the 48. It turns the 48 down. They slide down into the 09. It turns them even further. They're going right for that pit wall. The 09 hits it right on the corner. Pops up. Oh. That is brutal. The 24 actually looks like he got by it. The 42 is who got involved afterwards with the 48. But that's two Parker Motorsports cars taking themselves out once again. And the 09 gets involved by no fault of his own.
One of the cars we were just talking about that has practically made it almost 100 laps unscathed was brought right into that as well, and that's the 88 of Joshua.
And once again, that's that aggressive 3 wide with 50 laps to go. That's incredible. That's unnecessary right now. You're guaranteed another pit stop still. Like, you're not making it on fuel. So I don't know. It's to the point that it's a little bit absurd. If I'm being honest with you, it's a little bit absurd. Lucas Lewis in the 11 stays out. His last pit was at 92. He, like I said, nobody can make it on fuel. If there's another caution, they're going to pit for fuel anyway. No one can make it on fuel. This is likely just a tire stop. You're going to see some people getting their laps back.
Yeah, at this point, I feel like majority of the team strategies have roughly been out the window for at least 50 laps or so. At this point, you know, you've got to wonder how much they're actually still going to be working together, or it's kind of every man for itself.
No one really has a teammate anymore. The only teammates I see on track are the Sidden brothers, and then I see the Tricon 11 and 55, and that's all I see. Because Parker Motorsports is out, like, completely. The 48 is out. The 9 is out. The 88 died. The only car really left is the 24 of France. So, I mean, he's really kind of holding the flag right now for Parker Motorsports. Is Lucas Lewis here? He's going to go ahead and run the top. So we'll see how he controls the start. This is the first time he's really been up front since his accident earlier in this race. So we'll have to see what he's able to do here.
Yeah, this could be a very pivotal point for him in this race. This could kind of make or break the rest of this race for him.
I mean, we'll just have to see what happens. I don't know. Like I said, you're seeing a lot of these drivers begin to lose what respect they have left for each other, which honestly, I don't know how much that is at this point with what I'm seeing. So, I mean, this could easily be another chaotic 45 laps. You still have an entire stage 1 to go.
Yeah.
Like, they're not even halfway through this. They're not even halfway through the stage. Through the final stage. Like, they still have 45 laps.
It's just a tough race for them. I mean, like I said earlier, it's a 2-mile track. A lot of people think you have enough room to, you know, kind of push those 3 wides and push those 2 wides high. But when you're in that draft, it kind of throws everything off. And as we've seen, there hasn't been much of letting up and checking up for the other drivers. It's kind of just been more of like driving through them.
Right, and it's like you have to have that give and take. Otherwise, there's no point in racing them. As we see, Lucas Lewis gets the green. Not really the start he wanted here. Looks like a lot of the field kind of laid back. I think some of them are kind of realizing that, you know, it's starting to become an issue with the cautions and all the aggressive driving. But we'll see if that actually is the case in I guess a few laps. We'll find out. So Lewis loses the lead to the 81 of Callahan. You have 3 Toyotas in the top 3 once again. You see John Deeds there is drifting down the back, and someone's losing it back there alone. I don't know who that is. That is the 64 of Adams. Losing it on the back stretch.
We're 3 wide for third right now.
3 wide for third with 44 to go. They're starting to single file back out. Looks like the 15 of John Lewis got into the side of Tanner Sidden. Gage Burns has moved to the top behind Callahan. His teammate of Lucas Lewis behind him. But we'll have to see what Colson's able to do here. Looks like Colson's going to slide up in front of the 11, split the 2 Tricon cars. The 96 of Sidden is trying to push that 11, or maybe trying to make a move, and it's just... The 11's going to get tight here.
Levy's drifting up a bit there.
Yeah, well, I mean, he had so much speed because the 96 had kind of driven through him. But that 96 and that 11 aren't exactly best friends right now. The 11 in the first 3 races made a lot of enemies. Obviously ended up getting fired from the 24 of Parker Motorsports, got replaced by France. So, you know, burned a few bridges.
Got 2 brothers on the tail here too.
Yeah, obviously he is still the regular season points leader. He's 25 points over the 9 of Parker going into tonight. So we'll have to see how that holds up. As he's going to get turned, maybe? No, he's able to get off the 96 of Sidden. Once again, just looks, I mean, almost looked intentional.
I mean, what we've seen from him holding that bottom line, I just don't think he's got the good enough tires to be able to hold that high line and stay in that, you know, in that throttle with that draft. I feel like that's really his biggest problem right here. And they were obviously pushing him to try to get past him. Obviously successful, but it almost cost him at the end.
Right, and you can kind of see that that aggressiveness, it's not there as bad, but it is still a little bit of a problem.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, it's only going to get worse until the end of the race. You know, the people that feel like they should be in the top 5 that are sitting in 8th, you know, and further back, they're going to want to be there. So they're going to try to do anything as much as possible to get back to that position. But sometimes it comes with too much of a cost, and that's where you kind of got to understand where you're making too many moves and where you need to kind of just relax and let the race play its course. Right.
There is an ebb and flow in motor racing, and there's been not a lot of that tonight. I think they might honestly make the drivers' meeting twice as long next week. Actually, we are not. Yeah, we have a race next week. Sorry. We are at Kansas next week for the Cup Series. We'll have to see if they extend that drivers' meeting. I think there's a very high chance that could happen, honestly, after tonight.
After tonight, yeah, with how much race control has to deal with and has already been dealing with, and most likely the amount of penalties that are going to come out tonight. It's going to be a rough week for these drivers to come back, especially at Kansas. You know, it's kind of known to be a loose track in these corners on the tires. So we might see kind of the same situation here tonight throughout the stages. The farther it gets on, the more cautions, the more aggression comes out. It's you know, too early to call, but I feel like it's a really big possibility looking into next week.
I think some of the issue here as well is the length of the race. Obviously, it's 300 miles. It's 150 laps. Right. The real life Cup Series ran 200 laps. So we're running 3/4 of the real life race distance. And you know, when you start having people get all over each other like this, sometimes iRacing is not meant for long distance events. And sometimes some people are better at the sprint events. And, you know, times like these, the guys who are able to go to distance are usually the ones that come out on top. Right now, that's David Callahan, Gage Burns, Tanner Sidden, Kenneth Colson, and Trent Sidden. But, I mean, we still have, 38, so 76 miles to go? You still have almost a little bit over a third of this race to go. or a little bit under a third of this race to go. I can do math, I swear. So I mean, oh, the 77 looks like it might have gotten turned by the 15.
Yeah, it definitely looks like John Lewis came up on him right there and put him into the wall.
So we're gonna look at this while they're still going green here. It looks like, yeah, the 15 right hooks the 77. It looks like that might have.
We're still going green. One of the Sitton brothers also fell off the track as well with somebody else. They didn't.
Oh, Kenneth Coulson. Kenneth Coulson went off track is what I'm seeing here. So it looks like a lot of chaos going on. So Kenneth slides up, slides into the 96 net code actually, and he goes off. The 96 keeps going. They're able to
Looks
keep
like
it green.
Kenneth actually tried to save him there a little bit and did a really good job of kind of helping him, even though he caused that.
Well, you also see there was a ton of net code there as well, so you can't really fully pin that on the 28. Obviously Tanner's not going to care because he got caught out of a really good position. So yeah, I don't know.
That was brothers up there alone. That kind of killed most of their teamwork right there. Like we've already said, a lot of these teams have been broken up, so that was a very, very big thing to happen right there because that just threw off an entire team strategy.
Yeah, so I mean,
if you look,
there's not a ton of battles now.
We went from 7 cars in the lead pack to 4, barely. The 4th car is barely holding on.
Yeah, because I don't know if John Lewis actually even has the draft of the 99.
It doesn't. It kind of looks like it because he's not losing, but he's not gaining. He's not gaining so much. He only gained 0.1 right there in that corner, and he's been kind of consistent at the 0.7 mark throughout this lap.
Yeah, the big thing is like he doesn't have enough draft to actually close, but he has enough to kind of stay consistent. He does gain a little bit, but nothing major. But what a lot of these guys want right now, they want a caution in the next few laps because if they get that caution, they can make it to the end. As actually you see Hess is back out on track, 15 laps down. Yeah, you see a lot of people still on pit road from multiple incidents tonight. The 88, 09, 48, all likely done for the night after their incident on the inside wall. It's been a lot of mistakes that have caught more than just the ones making the mistakes, and that's been the story of tonight really, because of how close the pack racing is here at Auto Club. When one wreck happens, everyone's piling into it. I mean, we saw the 33 of Stinson just drive through the 51 and the 22 because they probably would only be 1 lap down, if even. And then Stinson drove through, took both of them out. He ends up 21st, puts them both from race-winning positions to 14th and 15th, 15 laps down. So that's something that, like I said, the league is not going to be happy with. Obviously Stinson doesn't really have to care because he won Daytona. So,
right.
But I mean, this penalty sheet, I'm gonna need like a medieval scroll to read all of it off because there's going to be a ton coming next week at Kansas.
Yeah, I feel like there's going to be a lot of gripe for some of the drivers that caused wrecks tonight. Obviously, there were a lot of drivers that were in similar incidences last week that were kind of in the same situation here, whether they caused it or not. And you got to think for those drivers that were affected, whether they caused it or not, and then the drivers that haven't even been affected at all tonight. It's definitely dampened spirits a lot tonight, and there's going to be a lot that's going to need to be talked about and kind of cleaned up before next week's race because you don't want a continuance of the situation that happened here tonight.
Right, and I mean, like, what I'm seeing here is there's been 2 messages since the race started. Caleb Hess has called out David Stinson, telling him to use his brakes, obviously upset about the incident that kind of ended his night because he would have been fine. And then the 29 after the intent wreck with Jordan Parker was suspended indefinitely. So I wouldn't be surprised if we have at least one race suspensions for next week at Kansas.
Oh, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. A lot of the names that are on that list of crashes tonight and incident reports have, like I said, really been just a copy of paste of last week. So there's going to have to be something done for those drivers, whether, it's kind of a situation that they get a penalty to show that, this isn't going to be tolerated again. It needs to be cleaned up. You need to talk to your team and kind of figure out where your weaknesses are, or if they're just going to get the hammer put down on them immediately and, kind of rewrite rules a little bit and make things a little bit clearer for some of these drivers.
I don't even think it's a situation of rewriting the rules. I think it's a situation of making people actually follow them, because a race like tonight, there's going to be consequences for a lot of it, because a lot of it is just it's stuff that should never even be a problem. As we actually see the 99 of Sid in his pit, he pits away from this lead pack. The 3 Toyotas up here probably going to pit together, is my guess, because they have that manufacturer alliance. So that's going to be big for them, because they're going to gain. Another big thing, I think, is going to be that, if you see a caution on pit exit like we did at Atlanta, 2 weeks. We saw 2 cautions for spins on pit exit at Atlanta last week, so you really kind of have to look and see what this 99 does, what he's able to do. You see him taking tires. So, I mean, we'll have to see. As we see Callahan, Burns, Lewis behind, they're continuing to gain, add ground between them and the 96. They're going to lap the 99. Whenever they pit in, they're going to be able to, the 99 will go back to the lead lap. The biggest thing right now is the fact that the 99 is on new tires. He's going to gain time on this top 3 for as long as they stay out. He's probably gaining a second, at least a lap. So I think it's highly likely you're going to see him pull down. So we actually see the 15 and the 55, both teammates are racing each other for position here. Not really what Callahan wants to see. He wants them to line up, get behind him, and kind of help him push them away. As you see, that 96 and 28 have gained on this front pack ever since the 15 tried to dive below the 55.
See, and another thing that's going to come in here play too is the top 6 all last pitted at 103. So, we still have 27 left to go here.
Yeah, so realistically, that means all of the top 3 can make it till about, all the top 6 can make it till about 136 or so, based on what Caleb had told us in the pre-race. So I think it's likely you're going to see someone like Callahan and Burns stretch it as long as they can, and then try, and they'll have, those 10-lap fresher tires on sit-in, and they'll have that ability to work together. So, they're going to have a speed advantage, and they're going to have that teamwork advantage, which Sidden really doesn't have ever since his brother and Coulson got involved. Tanner is actually catching this lead pack, so, that's big for him, but you have to also wonder how much he's pushing right now, whereas these Toyotas might be saving a little bit of fuel to make their last stops a bit shorter.
If he makes one crazy move on them and is literally pushed in front now.
Yeah, well, the thing for Trenton especially is we see that my tower's being weird. So we're gonna get rid of that.
Looks like the 17's actually pitting right now. Christopher Franz is going to be the first one to go in here.
Well, he'll be the second one because Sidden.
Well, I was going to say for Parker Motorsports, potentially.
Yeah, well, he's the only one left.
Yeah.
He's going to be the only one for Parker Motorsports because he's the only one that's still alive after the front stretch incident with the 88 and 48. So, I mean, the big story right now is when the top 3 decide to pit in. So,
I feel like they're going to try to push it as much as possible here. I mean, knowing that pit cycles are practically already starting, we've already had 2 people in. The 11 of Lucas Lewis is going in right now too. I mean, they're going to try to have to put as much time as possible on these cars that are pitting now and try to fake each other out or have to work together.
Right, and you see Sidden has now got the gap to this lead pack to about 2.7. And once again, you see the 15 trying to make that move on the 55, and it's just, like I said, it's not what the Toyotas want because they need to work together, and the 15 is not doing that. And that's the same thing. I spoke with Caleb Hess after the race at Atlanta, and he said that they didn't even look at the 15 as a teammate because no one trusted the 15 because he had been 12 seconds back the entire race. So no one wanted to work with him. And then he went out and almost wrecked them. So, a lot of the Tricon guys, they don't work with the 15 because the 15 doesn't work with them. And that's some of the give and take that, the teammates need to learn that. And some teammates just, they don't like giving, but they really like taking. So they just refuse to work together unless it's to their benefit.
Yeah, that just doesn't work all the time, being in a team, you have to have some type of aspect. I mean, of course, at the last 3 laps or so, fight it out. I'm not going to give you the way. You're going to have to earn it, but you need to be working with your teammates as much as possible to give y'all the advantage, to put y'all in a better situation, to not only solidify your points, but to also, boost the team's image as well.
Right, because what you see right now is the 15 is pulling the 55 back, and it doesn't allow the 55 to get to the rear of the 81 and push him. And it's costing them because you see the 96 and the 28 are gaining on those three. And then you see the 99 of Trent Sidden is going to continue to gain time because he's on newer tires. So this group of 3 that's choosing to go a bit longer, they need to kind of get together, figure their stuff out, and they need to make sure that Trent doesn't gain enough time to kind of go out and win this race. But Trent loves to see this right now because, he's continuing to gain time. Obviously, his tires are going to be a bit shot by the end of this. He's still gaining really good time during a lap, but he's not gaining nearly as much as he was before. Maybe it's a few tenths now instead of a few seconds. So, as actually see, Tanner and Coulson both pit in. So, we're going to see what they're able to do. Is they were actually catching this top 3. So I think you'll see this top 3 probably pit or in this time by or very soon. So we'll have to see what happens here with these 3 Toyotas.
Yeah, I mean, his guy's got to be getting low on fuel out here.
As we see McWilliams coming out. Well, they should be good till about 14 or 16 to go here. So like I said, they may just run it to the end of the fuel tank. Because Sidden's still gaining like a second a lap. It's just, you can see how, it's a little bit slower now. Kenneth Coulson and Tanner Sidden might not even be a lap down by the time that they... Oh, no, yeah, they are. Never mind. So, they'll come out. They'll probably... Like I said, the longer these 3 Toyotas stay out, the more of a deficit it is for them. Because I think if they just pit at the same time as Trenton, I think they'd be fine. Because they were so far ahead and they were a faster group. So, and now they're going to kind of get stuck here on the outside because of the 77 trying to go by after his pit stop. So the 64 of Thomas Adams finally pits in. With 19 to go here, coming to 18 to go in the race. Once again, still his top 3 racing against Trent Sidden on his own. He gained a ton of time there on that scoreboard. He gained about 2 tenths out of nowhere. So we'll see what he's able to do. As you see McWilliams continue to try and make his way around this lead pack of 3. I think at this rate, the best that'll happen is Trent will get really close to him. And then I think they're just going to blow by him. Because they're going to have such fresher tires.
Yeah, I feel like that's probably the situation that's going to happen here. Because, these top 3 are still pushing hard.
It's just...
It doesn't really look like they want to stop. We're already at 134.
Well, they can't make it on fuel, so they have to pit in the next 3 laps. Because you're not going to save 14, 16 laps of fuel in 40 laps. It's not physically possible in this car, at least. So I just don't know. I think they have to pit in. The issue right now is they're not able to get in because they have McWilliams kind of stuck on their inside. McWilliams finally is able to get by. So I think it's likely you'll see them relatively soon. We see Coulson starting to work by this group. He'll probably get clear out of 2. Sidden continuing to gain... Well, both Siddens continuing to gain time here. As you'll see them... You'll see how much time they gain on the corner whenever you'll see how much time they gain every time they go into the corners. Because they gain like a second or half a second every time they go in. So we see the 15 dive to the bottom. Looks like the 81 is starting to migrate a little bit, maybe. Yeah, 81 goes to the bottom. I think the 81's going to pit in. 55 looks like he's pitting in as well. I want to watch this 55.
Going down 2.
Yeah, well, they're going to try and pit together because they're all teammates. So now you just got to make sure there's no speeding penalties here. Callahan looks like he gets in without an issue. Same with Burns. Same with John Lewis. So it looks like all 3 Toyotas get on scot-free. So now we're going to go ahead, see what happens. We're looking to see what happens with Trent Sidden right here. He's on the back stretch, going into 3 and 4. Callahan's just going into his box. He's going to be way behind Sidden here. There goes Gage Burns. Oh, looks like right side tires only for Callahan. Same with Lewis. There goes Sidden right there on the top of your screen. Looks like Lewis actually jumped both of them. I don't know if he had a really good stop or maybe he didn't take tires at all. As you can see, Callahan getting really loose there on the apron. Callahan's dropped all the way back to 5th here. It looks like he might drop back if France gets a good run. So maybe a poor strategy call with 15 to go from these Toyotas. It looks like maybe an issue for Gage Burns. Maybe a pit penalty? I don't know. Trying to see if it shows me any of that. Not that I can see. So Sidden brothers 1-2. Then you have, Sidden or Trent Sidden. Then 3.5 seconds back you have Tanner. Then you have Coulson right behind him. So he's kind of alone in this race right now. The race is right here. So John Lewis didn't take tires. He's done. He's pretty much just surviving for like a top 5 maybe, depending if he can keep in front of France, because I think France took 2, so he might kind of be there. But you can see the gap. Callahan is chewing time in every corner, and he really just needs to get about half a second each lap right now. If he can get half a second a lap, I think he's good. But he also has to realize that Tanner Sidden is going to inherit this lead in a few laps, because he has 9 lap fresher tires than his brother. But you also have Coulson, who pit in with Tanner, who's also trying to go for the win. So, you know, if there's an incident in the top 3, I think this falls right into the hands of Callahan, Lewis, and Burns, and actually Lucas Lewis as well.
Yeah, I feel like we're at a tricky point with this last stage. These pits have definitely thrown a lot off, and you know, Trenton's trying to hold on right now, but like you said, they're knocking at that door right now, slowly trying to bark time off. Tanner's down to barely half a second.
Well,
Kenneth's right behind him. Yeah,
Tanner gained half a second on Trent in that corner alone. Actually, 0.6. I think Trent might have gotten in the wall as well. But you see, Callahan is getting is also getting that same amount of time, if not more. So Tanner Sidden's going to pass his brother Trent. Same with Coulson. So Coulson's going to move to 2nd. Tanner Sidden to 1st. As Coulson's actually going to get stuck side by side with Trent here. We're going to go ahead and look. So the Toyotas pit 5 laps later than Tanner and Kenneth. Callahan's not going to have that speed difference that he had on Trent. So, you know, he's got to make up a good chunk of time here, and I don't know if his tires allow him to do that because they're only 5 laps older, and he doesn't have the draft like these other cars do.
See, Tanner's smartest decision right now would be to kind of use this lap car as his advantage and kind of hold next to him for a little bit and kind of use him to block here. But he's got around him, which is probably smarter because he's now got that draft to kind of push him and keep his enemies at bay behind him just by
Yeah,
Just by a hair.
I think Callahan's biggest mistake was pitting so much later than Tanner, and I think the 2-tire choice is starting to bite him a little bit. But at the same time, he wouldn't even be this close if he took 4. So, I mean, I think it was just a poor strategy calls from all the Toyotas, because you see Callahan is stuck 3 seconds back. I don't think he has the pace to get up there. I don't think he has the tires. You have Gage Burns, who had a slow pit stop. I don't know if he missed his box or the speeding penalty or what. Then you have John Lewis, who didn't take tires, and he continues to lose a ton of time. Then you have Lucas Lewis, who pit early as well. Ooh, we have Kenneth and Tanner getting out of here. Obviously, these two did have their run-in earlier. They're the reason that there is such a gap. So maybe this might pull Callahan back into it, as Callahan's actually trying to get around the 99 right now. You can see it there on the top of your screen really briefly. So looks like Coulson and Sidden are going to fight for the lead. Callahan's kind of hoping they continue to drag each other back. It'll drag Callahan back into the fight, and I think if Callahan gets back up there, it's Callahan's race to win. Sorry, I believe Gage Burns had a slow stop because he took 4 tires instead of 2. Whereas I believe everyone else may have taken 2 tires. So Callahan 2.4 back. He needs about 3/10 a lap right now to get back to the lead. So he needs to be at 2.1 by the end of this lap. And I just don't know if he's able to get there. We might see Joshua Hahn try and help this 28 of Coulson. They are teammates, although Hahn does look like his car is quite a bit damaged. Sorry, look at... Yeah, Callahan did gain a lot of time there. He gained 4/10 in that corner. He's a little bit behind his target. He's at 2.1 right now. Just got under 2.1, so like I said, he's 3/10 a lap right now to catch these leaders. So we'll see what he can do as they continue to battle for first. Tanner on the outside, Kenneth on the inside. Oh!
Side by side pushing now.
Maybe got a little bit close there, as Sidden looks like he may have tagged the wall and jumped down and almost cut across Coulson's nose. It could have turned Sidden once again off the nose of Kenneth Coulson there. As we see Coulson tries to clear up top. He's not clear. Has to pull back down. Sidden's going to get that run on the top side. Looks like Sidden's actually going to clear Coulson here. Callahan gets another 3/10. He's on pace right now to get to the lead on the last lap. So like I said, this battle right now is Callahan's biggest friend. Callahan needs to be at 1.5 by the end of this lap.
I mean, he's roughly under 1.0 right now. He's closing.
Yeah, you can see where that wear and tear from that battle is starting to wear on the top two, because you can see Callahan actually didn't get the time he needed that time, I think because he had to clear the 77. So he needs a little bit extra now. He's going to need about 0.35. You see Joshua Hahn getting the wall there. We'll see what Callahan can do. 1.6 back. If he can gain 4/10 in the next turn, he has a chance. But he has to gain an insane amount in 3 and 4 here. We'll see what he can do. Kenneth Coulson dives back to the bottom. He won't have the run here. His best bet is to get into the side of Sidden, make some kind of contact, or maybe slide behind him and try and get some kind of draft. But he just... Sidden trying to make the draft. Coulson trying to follow. Callahan, you can see him in the back there, needs over 3/10. Now needs about 3.5 a lap, or 0.35 a lap.
Coulson's trying to break that draft from Sidden and kind of get that lower line advantage, but it just doesn't seem to be working here the last 2 turns.
Yeah, Callahan needs to be at 0.95 or 1.05 by the end of this lap to have a shot. I don't think he has the tires to get there.
I don't think he does too, and unfortunately the car behind him doesn't really seem to be in tune with his line, but he did catch that car right there. I believe it's that 42 car.
Yeah, but
So
once he goes to pass that
behind
42, he's going to lose a ton of time, because that's what happened when he got with the 77 last time by. So this time by, he needs to be at, I believe,
42 in the wall.
Yeah, that's not the first time we've seen the 42 up there. So Callahan
Looks like
needs to
he's
be
still
at
in it.
0.7 by the end of this lap to have a shot. There's now no cars between the 2 leaders and David Callahan. Tanner Sidden remains in front. Kenneth Coulson remains in second. Callahan trying to chase both of them down. I don't think he's going to get there in time. He'll need to make about 4/10 a lap. But now that he has no one in the way, he might be able to make a shot.
We got 2 to go here.
Callahan needs about 2/10 a corner.
Callahan catching, but lost time going low there. Doesn't seem to be losing too much, but didn't really give him the impact he expected.
Yeah, but he'll lose a lot here on the backstretch. Callahan needs that draft. As much as you don't want to be in that dirty air, you kind of have to suck it up here.
He's got about
See
a lap
Callahan
left to go here.
Yeah, Callahan's gaining a ton, and then he just loses it because he's on the low side, it looks like.
Coming to the line. We got
White
a
flag here for
out.
Tanner
He's only
Sidden.
got-
We'll see what he's able to do here. In the 96, had a great pit strategy. I don't think Callahan's going to get there in time. Callahan might not even get second.
I don't believe so. Looks like he's falling off.
Yeah, Callahan, like I said, I think he pit too late. Didn't have the strategy call that was going to win the race. And just got stalled behind these 2 in front of him. We see Kenneth Coulson dive to the bottom. Callahan below that. I don't think neither of them will get to Sidden.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, and that top 3 won't change, but Tanner Sidden in his first season will win the California Dreamin' 300 at Auto Club. Kenneth Coulson will finish second. David Callahan P3. Gage Burns will recover to P4. Trent Sidden, after a very early pit stop, will finish P5. John Lewis will eventually cross the line P6. Christopher France in the 24 will finish P7. And Lucas Lewis will finish P8. And then you have the 64 of Thomas Adams, P9, and the 42 of Joshua Hahn in P10. Then after that, you have the 41 of Beam, the 88 of Mason, the 77 of McDaniels, or McWilliams. I don't know where I got McDaniels from. The 22 of John Deeds, the 51 of Hess, the 09 of Isaiah Fox, the 48 of Daryl Klotz, the 9 of Jordan Parker, the 29 of Jordan Naughton, the 3 of Carden Hansen, the 21 of Dave Stinson, and the 12 of Taylor Auten. The Sidden brothers burning it down for the first time in NARAS history here at Auto Club. It's like a synchronized spin, too. So let's take a look here if it lets me. There we go. The race results here from Auto Club. Like I said, Tanner Sidden, P1. Kenneth Coulson in second. David Callahan in third. Gage Burns in fourth. And Trenton Sidden in fifth. Then you have John Lewis, P6. Christopher France, P7. Lucas Lewis, P8. Thomas Adams in ninth. And Joshua Hahn rounds out your top 10. Joey Beam, P11. Joshua Mason, P12. Corey McWilliams, P13. John Deeds, P14. Caleb Hess, P15. Daryl Klotz, P16. Isaiah Fox, P17. And then we have Jordan Parker, 18th. Jordan Auten, 19th. Carden Hansen, 20th. Dave Stinson, 21st. And Taylor Auten finishing in 22nd. An interesting race tonight here from Auto Club. A busy week, I believe, for race control. But we are going to go ahead and talk to our top 3. So let's go ahead and take a look. Let's go ahead and talk to our third place finisher, David Callahan. David, this is Owen and Tyler in the booth. So you got me?
Yeah, I got you.
So obviously you weren't able to make it there at the end. Not really the strategy call you were kind of hoping it would be. So how do you approach? I mean, is there anything you changed in that last cycle of pit stops?
Yeah, you know, me and the Tricon guys were working really well together the entire night. You know, we worked together on restarts and with drafting and pushing each other past each other or other people, and just at the end, me and Chris were gonna wait until we had about 2 to 3 laps left, and we were hoping that we wouldn't have that many laps left to run. We had such a big lead, and we thought that was the right call, but hindsight 2020, we should have definitely pit with 3-4 laps sooner than what we did, and probably would have had a much better chance of getting up to Tanner and Kenneth there.
Yeah, so, I mean, obviously not what you wanted, but I think you were the only driver who wasn't involved in an incident tonight. So, I mean, that's honestly probably more of a win. So, I mean, I don't know if I'm allowed to ask this, but what's your thoughts as a driver from tonight?
It was very aggressive. A lot of drivers, talking to Tanner and Caleb, or not Tanner, sorry, Chris and Caleb, we were noticing a lot of drivers shooting it in the corners 1 and 3, really abusing their tires. A lot of 3 wide, which I get it's a big wide track, but that early, it's a little soon. A lot of aggressive driving, but also a lot of good driving. It's nice to be at a track with multiple lanes that are working, and then to have it come down to his strategy was pretty cool.
All right, well, we go to Kansas next week. I'd argue is another multi-groove track. So, I mean, are you hoping that maybe there's a little bit of a difference in how tonight was run?
Yeah, I would like to do green flag pit stops more, a lot more longer runs, because the practice build up to here, I practice running long runs to see the tire fall off and how that would affect everything. And you kind of can't see it when we're only doing 10 to 15 lap sprints. But I mean, it's a big wide track. People are going to look at that and be aggressive. So hopefully Kansas, fast but also a little bit tighter. Hopefully we can be a little more cautious.
All right, well, I think that's going to be it from us tonight for you. So congratulations on tonight, and we will see y'all next week.
Alrighty, I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Yep. All right, that was 3rd place finisher David Callahan. We're going to go ahead and try and see if Kenneth is in here. It doesn't look like he's too busy, so I'm going to steal him. Kenneth, this is Owen and Tyler in the booth. You got me?
Yeah.
So obviously you're one spot short.
Yep.
Is there anything else you would have or could have done differently tonight?
I wish I was a little bit. Well, tonight was kind of like a weird night. It was a lot of crashes and stuff. Even me, I was made a few mistakes, and I apologize to guys. And I got into Tanner too, and tried to apologize, and I held on to brakes, and held on to him so he wouldn't wreck out. But I mean, I think honestly that kind of won him the race, actually, because I mean the whole time we was trying to catch the leaders and stuff. But honestly, no. I wish I had a little bit more tire towards the end, but I mean I'm happy with second, because I mean I haven't been running real good here lately, and I'm about to leave for 3 weeks because I got to go do some Army stuff. But yeah, I'm really happy with tonight.
So obviously, I mean, it's one spot less than you'd like, but a decent night nonetheless.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, we saw a lot of crashing.
Yeah.
Do you think some of that might have been? I mean, do you have anything that you would think would be some of the cause of that?
A little bit. It was. I mean, a lot of it. Like Auto Club's one of those tracks where, I mean, you can take it 4 and 5 wide and stuff like that, but you just got to be. I think a lot of it was guys wasn't realizing they're 3 or 4 wide. Like, you know what I mean? Like they wasn't realizing it. So like when they came off the corner or something like that, they would get into people. I think more awareness, like look to your right, look to your left. If you're on a single monitor, if you're on a third monitor, 3 monitor, pay attention to that. I'd like to see a little bit more give and take. I feel right there, like it. I knew like a few guys were full throttle going in, and then they were washing up. I'm not going to call anybody out. That's just not me. But I know of a few that would. I'm sitting there, and I just see them get tight and get up into me, and I'm sitting there like, oh crap, You know,
I mean, I wouldn't mind names. It's good for broadcasting.
Well,
I gotta stir the pot.
I-
At least give me one. Come on, just one.
It was 88. 88. He about I saved it, but I about got hooked. And
You heard it here first.
Yeah.
Kenneth Colson's gonna intentionally wreck the 88 next week.
No.
Oh.
Well, I won't be here. So,
Yeah.
but
The 88's safe for
but
now.
I'm not. No, I'm not gonna do that. I was wanting to check on the bike. Be like, hey man, just let off the throttle a little bit. You'll save your tire. You'll save your right front. But I didn't. I wasn't trying to be. But I
You
was
gotta
like,
let them learn
holy
for
cow.
themselves sometimes.
Yeah.
So.
So, but I mean, I ran up there. I was like 6th, 7th, led a few laps. I'm really happy with tonight. Like I felt like, I ran really good. I wasn't, so like the last few races, I was really hesitant trying to, take my time and stuff. Cause I'm still trying to figure out the whole fix setup world. Cause I don't run it much, but, felt like tonight was a good night for me to, I'm understanding the setup, the fix setup, and what the car is going to do and stuff like that. So I'll take it 2nd place.
All right. Well, obviously, I guess we won't catch you the next 2 weeks because we don't run
3.
that 3rd week. So.
Oh, the 3rd week, yeah, they changed the schedule at Charlotte.
No. We fixed it. We're off the
Oh.
20. We're off that weekend because that's Richmond, IRL.
Oh, the 23rd.
Yeah. Well, the 23rd is Daytona, so we actually don't come back until the 28th.
Oh, okay. So y'all
Yeah.
are taking.
Or sorry, we don't come back till the 30th. Yeah, we don't race on nights where NASCAR runs that same night.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, we won't be back till August 30th for Charlotte.
Okay.
After Talladega.
Oh
so.
crap. Oh really? Oh,
Yeah.
I get to race it. Yes. Yes. I was bummed, dude. Like when
Yeah.
when I seen it, I was like, "Come on, man!" I was like, "That's
Yeah.
the what? That's my home track."
Well, 'cause
I live right outside of Charlotte. So.
I had looked because I was looking at the schedule because I'm in with all that stuff, and it's like
Yeah.
I told Jordan, I'm like, that's Daytona. I won't be here. I'm watching Daytona.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
'cause
Definitely.
my thing is like, I don't want attendance to suffer because we're racing on a night where like Daytona's
Yeah.
probably one of the most watched races, especially the
Yep.
cutoff. So, but yeah, so we'll run Kansas next week. Then we have Talladega the
There you
week
go.
after. You'll miss both of those.
Mhm.
Then we have 2 off weeks for Richmond and Daytona in real life. And then
Okay.
we have Charlotte the 30th. And that might not
Awesome.
that might not be streamed live, but I will have it out later that week.
Okay.
So-
That's cool.
'Cause
I'm just glad I get it. You made my day now. I get to race
Yeah,
it. I
you
was
get to
like,
race
yes!
You're welcome.
Mhm.
So
Thank you.
All
But,
right. Well, I guess we'll see you at Charlotte then.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hopefully, I'm back up here talking to you again. Let's keep the
well-
momentum going.
I'll have to call you on like a random Wednesday night for that. So
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Hey,
you're like
man,
11.
are you
He'll
in
be like
Discord?
11 at night. Hey, I need you.
Okay, I'm coming, bud. I'm coming.
All right. I'll see
yeah.
you.
Yeah. But thank y'all. Thank y'all for broadcasting. Great job. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. I almost moved into the wrong VC. All right. We got to talk to the. Which one won? Hang on. There's 2 Siddons. Which one won? I got to pull this up again. Tanner won it. Let's pull up the right number. Tanner, I almost pulled up your brother. You got me?
Should have pulled him up. It'd been funnier.
I literally just said I almost did it on accident and then remembered that I have something that tells me who finishes where. So I don't know what I'm doing, but obviously, I mean, that's which one of you finished second last week?
Trent finished second last week.
Trent finished. I get y'all mixed up so much. You were second at Vegas.
That's correct.
Okay. Y'all are both T-Sidden. I can't even say T-Sidden because it still works. Okay.
Worse than you think. It's not even just TS. It's TGS. Our initials
I know.
are the same.
Your middle names are the same too?
Same initials.
This job sucks.
That's crazy.
That's horrible.
That's insane.
Y'all
Blame
need.
my parents.
I'm
Blame my
legally
parents.
changing your name for you.
It works for me, brother.
You're gonna be like, I don't know. You're gonna be something else. Anyway, you got your first career victory tonight in your first. What? This is your. You didn't run at all in season 1, did you?
Did not run it all at season 1. This is my first season
Okay.
actually coming to race.
Okay, that's what I thought. I just wanted to ask before I said something stupid. Okay, so your first season, your first win, you beat your brother. How does that make you feel?
Feels pretty good, especially with having damage from a certain person for the 4th week in a row. So, been pretty good. Feels a lot better. But I feel bad for Trent because he tried to short pit us and it just did not work out for him. We was both on different strategies, and I guess it just finally worked in my favor.
I mean, so obviously the first 120 laps of that were absolute chaos. How do you approach Kansas after a week like this?
Well, with it being Kansas and stuff like that, I got to give a shout out to our league owner, Jordan, because it's his home track. But I will say this, just because it's your home track, I'm not going to be nice to you. I'm going to approach it the same way I have been, just keep my nose clean and just try to stay out of trouble. But same issue as always. As long as one person's still driving the same, I'll still be in the same problem I have been.
All right, well, congratulations on your first win. Obviously, you got to burn it down for the first time. So, yeah, I mean, you're obviously locked into the playoffs now. I believe I don't know what seed you're in. Let me
I
check.
am part-time, so I am not in the playoffs.
Well, you've run every race, so okay.
Kansas was actually going to be my last race until December.
Oh. Well, that makes sense. So you're not in the playoffs. You just win for sport. Congratulations.
All right, Owen, I appreciate it, brother. Tyler, nice seeing you, man. Y'all guys have a great night.
Absolutely.
I got to get up early in the morning and drive my happy little butt to Charlotte. So y'all guys have a great one.
Yeah, you too. Good luck.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
congratulations.
All right, and that was race winner Tanner Sidden, and that is going to conclude interviews tonight. Obviously, none of our picks won, Tyler. I think we need better picks.
Yeah, I feel we need to kind of go back to the drawing board and be fresh for next week.
Well, like you said, there's always next week. Next week, NARAS Cup Series goes to Kansas Speedway, the home of league owner Jordan Parker. He won there last year in the spring race, and then, well, I won the playoff race, but Jordan Parker won the spring race, so we'll see if he can once again win the regular season Kansas race next week. 8:20 will go live. 8:45 will take the green. We'll see y'all next week. This is Owen Lax and Tyler Jones. It was nice talking about people going in circles. Goodbye.